Welcome everybody to MogTalk. Today is Sunday, March 31st, 2024. If you guys are unfamiliar with MogTalk, it's a show based around the Final Fantasy XIV community discussing everything from Savage raiding to Chocobo racing. Today we have some special guests on, and we're talking about a game that we don't go venture past Final Fantasy XIV often, but this doesn't feel too far past it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has been all over everywhere. One of the most amazing games I've played in quite a while, and I wanted to talk about it, but it's so hard to talk about this game. This is the most difficult game to talk about because it's just spoiler territory. Any kind of conversation you have can easily spoil the experience for someone else. So I wanted to do a show with a couple of friends that I know have also dove into this game recently, probably way more than I have. Just kind of talk about it and put our thoughts in there. And again, today is episode 299. We will have a 300 coming up soon. I'll have to figure out what to do with that. So just hang tight for that. But today, I'm going to have kind of a greedy show that is about something that I want to talk about more than anything else, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I got to get it out of my system. Before I go any further, though, let me introduce our guests so you know who they are. First, I'm going to start with Arthars, who you guys should know if you've ever watched this or you are in touch with the Final Fantasy XIV streaming scene at all. Arthars, though, could you tell everybody, just in case, who you are?
No, we just said let Happy go first. Wait,
this is just
intro.
who you are.
Okay. Yeah, what's up, I'm Arthars. I've been playing Final Fantasy since I was like, I don't know, 8, 9 on Game Boy. So really love the franchise. Obviously now, also play the MMO version of Final Fantasy, which is 11 and 14 now. So yeah, here I am. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, not me, but the one guy in chat that doesn't know who you are. Very similar. Mr. Happy, very well known in the Final Fantasy XIV community. Probably really well known in the Final Fantasy VII community in general too, because he just dives into Final Fantasies like no one else. I think he's probably played through all of the Final Fantasies 1,000,000,001 times on stream, I would have to say, with multiple count-ups. And also the only one that's actually dressed appropriately for the show. Mr. Happy, could you tell everybody who you are?
Me? Gungaga.
You know what's funny? Your mic, for some reason, starts really low, and then it just goes up, so it says Gungog.
Gungaga. There we go.
Everybody, you are,
well, what was the point? You just did my whole intro for me. Why would I say anything?
You have some good stuff to say that I didn't say. You want me to do some more?
Like what? What do you literally just described the last 10 years of my life before I even got a turn?
I guess maybe. You're a daily Final Fantasy XIV streamer. Well known, been around.
Oh, I definitely do not play daily.
Yeah, okay.
Not in recent months. Soon though. Yeah. With Dawn Trail coming around. But yeah, I dabbled in 7 Rebirth. I think that's fair to say. I've dabbled in the Final Fantasy franchise a handful of times. Yeah, just get my feet wet.
Feet a little bit more than wet. Now, I think you probably, out of the three of us, have some of the most experience playing the game before we even probably played it too, right?
Yeah, I had a review copy and I was lying to everyone about why I was taking off stream. It's because I was playing 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did people believe you?
No.
Okay.
I literally can't do anything without people suspecting me of anything at all. In fact, there was a media event for it back in October, and I ended stream at like 10 a.m. I said I had something important to do that day, but I'll be back tomorrow. I flew to LA and back just so people wouldn't suspect that I was away for anything. Nice. It's just like, it's just one of those days. Sometimes you just gotta, do stuff in the middle of the day. I can't really wait till after. So, and I was like, I was full of it.
I remember when the fucking game came out, right? And I looked at Twitter. I tried to avoid Twitter. I had to avoid Twitter for like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
But I did every once in a while glance at it, and I saw a tweet that was just a couple of days after the game came out. Here you said, I platinumed the game, hard mode, everything. I'm just like, What the?
Yeah, that was four days after it came out. I was done with my platinum. Yeah.
Jeez. I saw that. And I was just thinking, this game has to be. This game can't be.
Why would you think that? You play remake. Why would you think that?
Remake's not that long. Remake's only like 30, 40
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
40 hours for me.
But after you play remake, why would you think Rebirth will be shot?
Well,
Because
I just saw the
remake
tweet.
doesn't have much.
I was trying to
know?
connect to it. I was like, I don't know, maybe a lazy sequel. I don't really know. All right. Of course, I was wrong 100% with any of those
Grossly.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I want everybody to know kind of where you're coming from your perspective, playing this game, going into this game. We all love Final Fantasy and the whole franchise. Obviously, that's like without a doubt. But like for you, and we said we'll start with Happy first. So Happy, what's kind of your history going up to this point when the game was released? And how did your perspective get built? Like when did you play Final Fantasy VII? Whatever you want to say about it.
So it's funny because when I first saw so 7 was the first Final Fantasy game I ever saw. It's not the first one I ever played, but it's the first one I ever saw. I was at my friend's house and his brother was fighting a boss that we haven't seen yet. Since it's a spoiler discussion, I assume no one here
we can
cares
talk about anything. By the way, real quick, I got to make this super obvious. We are talking about everything about this game. So if you don't have experience with it, you don't want to be spoiled. If you want to avoid anything for your playthrough or you haven't finished the game, we're going to talk about every single aspect because I have to get this shit out of my system and I am not going to like hold back any point of discussion. So please talk about whatever you want to, Happy.
Yeah, so his older brother was fighting Ruby Weapon, and that's the first time I ever saw Final Fantasy VII, so it was a pretty extreme introduction to the franchise as a whole. Then I told my parents that I wanted Final Fantasy for Christmas, and they bought me 8 instead of 7 because I could never trust my parents with Roman numerals. Yeah, which to be fair, all these years later, I still don't trust anyone with Roman numerals, so it kind of works out. But eventually, obviously, I played 7. 7 was never really a big favorite of mine. It was one I liked it, but it was like it never really stood out like in the top for me. So but I remember with the original being the first one that I saw, I remember thinking to myself, man, wouldn't it be crazy if like this was like an action game at some point and with like better like I thought it even back then because I saw they had like horse hoof hands and I was like, that looks ridiculous. Even in that day, I was like, they have Mario 64 hands in this game. But then when you get in a battle, they look so nice. I wish they could look like that all the time. So it was funny that I was essentially already one of those people like Remake when essentially as like a 10-year-old just looking at it at like a PlayStation 1. So when Remake got announced, I was pretty excited because I figured I would probably like it a lot more than the original. And that's kind of come to be the case, regardless of the split across 3 games. That's not something that ever bothered me, especially after Remake. So obviously, since that's been announced, yeah, I've been full on in. And I've really been playing it less as a creator and more as somebody who just wants it to be good. Because I do a lot less content on 7 Remake than pretty much every other Final Fantasy. Like I put out like 1 video on Rebirth, maybe 2. And it was like, I had the game like 3 weeks early. I could have done anything and everything if I really wanted to. But I was like, after the 100 hours I spent pre-release, I was like, I'm good. I'm just going to play hard mode when it comes out.
Okay.
I'll be good with that. Yeah. No.
It's a rough game to play too. I mean, like honestly,
not for me.
I'm sorry. It was a rough game.
Time flew by is the only problem. The only problem I had was committing the time.
Well, I mean, in the term of like other people like experiencing it with you, right? Because it was one of those things that like you play, so many people want to play it on their own, and it's so long that if people don't want to be spoiled, you're just going to not be playing with other people around. And the only people who will be around are the people who don't care if they get spoiled, so they're not.
This is precisely why I didn't care about my reactions being off stream, because I was like, I don't really want to upload all the reaction VODs. Like I just, whatever. I just want to play. I'm one of those people who like look at a game and I'm just like trying to make sure I get it all. So I'm not just like, oh my God. The whole time I'm like,
very similar. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's what I'm doing the whole time. I'm just like,
Okay. Well, anything else you want to say about it before we go to Arthur's 30-minute story?
I have a
God.
snack for his. I have a snack for his story, so we're good.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Arthur's, go ahead.
Okay, to be honest, right, I think the history about us with the game is very important. Number one, it's not a new game. Number two, we are all here, and we also, even if we are not all, at some point we're gonna be like, check it out, even though we are not all, right? So it's like, I think it's important that we spend more time in the intro, because that will actually also mean how much we know about the game, rather than some Twitter fucks or YouTube frogs that's gonna watch this and be like, oh my god, those guys don't know what they're talking about. We know what we are talking about. Okay, we play the game a lot. I personally, like I said earlier, I've been playing Final Fantasy since I was 8-9 years old, like on Game Boy. You know what I mean? And then after that, the first one I ever played was FF3 on console. And then eventually, just me and my friends, we were just so into Final Fantasy. We were always like, who is gonna go to the shop and buy a Final Fantasy game first? Number one. Number two, we're gonna play as much as we can so that we can, like, number one, avoid spoiler ourselves. And then number two, we can also, like, it's a competition. For me and my friends, I got 4 friends that we were so into gaming that we were always competing to against one another. We will like buy console fast, we will play Final Fantasy, and then we will compete. And after that, we will compete who beats the game, who done all the challenges, and who done all the full level, and basically more than just 100% the game. Like literally nothing else you can do in the game that you don't know about. So that's how how far we always go. And then to make the competition even more crazy, we play all the JP version first. We have no fucking idea what we are talking about. But actually, Final Fantasy is the reason why I learned Japanese, even when I was like really young. It's just that, I didn't have money. It's just unconventional. It doesn't make sense. So didn't really learn Japanese until FF11, and then eventually, before 14, then officially actually learn Japanese. But FF4 Final Fantasy series has been like a very important thing for me as I grew up. More than anybody thought or imagined. So then we will play the JP version, we will play the English version, and then eventually at some point later in the series, you start having international version and stuff. So we always play 100%. So after I started streaming, people always ask me, oh, how come you don't play? Do you play previous Final Fantasy? How come you don't do it on stream? So I'm always like, I done everything already. There's a reason why I don't do what Happy does. All these things, because I done too much already. I done to the point that I don't want to do it again. Like, everything, literally everything is 100%. Like, there's nothing I did not do, So obviously when 7 comes out, we play remake, we play rebirth. Like we all have a life, right? Before we started streaming. So then I start to like talk about 7. People say, oh shit, you kind of know a lot. I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go back and tell you my 10-year story, 20, 30-year story, but yes, take my word for it when I say I know about a game, right? Final Fantasy, every one of them, right? So that is interesting now. Like you said earlier in the show, dude, I wanted to talk about 7, remake, rebirth, whatever, this whole thing. But just, number one, you can't talk about it without people be like, oh my God, And then number two, sometimes when you talk to some of these people, they don't get it. So it's really nice that I'm in the show. That's why I was super happy and excited when I told you that, oh shit, Happy is on the show. It's going to be great, because Happy knows a lot as well about not just 7, but the entire franchise, right? And then we have you, who is like kind of new. So it's like, we have a nice blend here to talk about. So I'm actually super excited about this one. And yeah, here we are. Well, so I can't wait for us to finally unleash.
Just let it go.
Get it out of our system.
Whatever we feel at the moment that we would want to talk about. Who cares about keeping things consistent in the conversation? Fuck it. I want to talk about the game and how I feel good about it. I'll let you know, this game came out when I was about 10 years old. And this game was actually pretty important to me, because when it came out, this was the time when PlayStation 1 was still kind of like getting kind of new, and the graphics to me looked so good at the time. Like, I liked playing it, and every time a cutscene happened, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it was so big at the moment, like in comparison to other games. It was out of this world, right? And, they had the really artful backdrops. They're not really, part of the playable graphics, but it felt like it fit together. When you went back and you played it 10 years later, you're like, oh, this is kind of hard to play because you don't know where you're going and how to like interact with it. But, it's one of the games that deserved to be remade in some way. It's one of the games that needed to go back and have
the only game
go into it.
The only remake that matters, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
yeah.
Well,
in my lifetime.
Here's the thing: it's not like a real remake though. right? It's a sequel. This is a sequel. Okay. So
There's been nothing there's been no hard evidence of that. That's still in the theory pool.
Exactly.
It feels like it feels like a sequel to it, so this whole conversation, there's so much to talk about. There's so many different theories. There's so many I don't know all of them. I don't know everyone's opinion. I don't know all this stuff.
For the better.
And so if you guys are like, "No, you're wrong." I don't give a fuck, right? That's okay. Go ahead and tell me that I'm wrong. I'm happy talking about it with just my perspective at the moment. I played Final Fantasy VII when it came out. I still have it. Right here. All right? I still have it. I have the old, really amazing cover and little guidebook that came with it too. All right? I have the character guide where it says Eris instead of Aerith. All right? So I'm familiar with this game, and I've beaten it.
Okay. You see, like I said earlier, all of us have a life before we stream. Wow. Okay. Good.
Every time Happy's like, I don't know if my life really mattered before streaming. No, this is really important to me. This is when I really started getting getting into Final Fantasy, right? I bought Final Fantasy 6 when it was 3 in the US, but I never really played through it. I just bought it because all my older siblings thought it was cool, right? And it was something that I should have. And then this came out, and this is the first really deep RPG that I got into. I didn't even beat it in my first playthrough. I had to go back years later, and go through and beat it and get the golden chocobo and like do all this stuff, right? But it mattered to me. I never really fully understand it in terms of like how other people like dove into it and analyzed the story and really understood what was going on. Because my brain it was just looking at the shiny things. It was happy to be playing the game. Happy was playing the game. Yeah, anyways, joke over. We go in, like, when we are talking about this, the strange thing that I've seen, and it's not strange, I guess, but I've seen stuff on Twitter about Maximilian's opinions on this, right? And how people have just, like, made it unfun to talk about for him. He doesn't want to even talk about it anymore.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's why we all try to avoid.
That's why I'm here. Because here I won't be unfun.
We need to remember there is two different generations. Like, this game is the only game that probably have a split in generation and then opinion. Because not everybody played back then. And even today when they play this, remake or rebirth, let's just say if we call this the new Final Fantasy VII, they are gonna be like drawing comparison on things they really don't fucking know. Like, holy shit, man! Some of the I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Is it bad that people are talking about the game, not understanding the game? Is it bad that people who play the game that has no understanding about the game? Or is it the fucking sheepers that they just have no fucking clue? How are we gonna talk about that? Because I'm gonna talk about that.
We can talk about literally whatever, right?
Holy fuck,
no limits.
Man.
We don't have to go like. I want to talk about the game.
It pisses me off.
But yeah, I mean, there has been a community reaction to this game that has been kind of toxic in general, but it's all because these people love the game so much, but they're going very passionately aggressive. I don't know what the word for that is.
Correct.
There's a key difference between loving something and making it your identity.
Yeah.
That some people can't draw a line between.
Just now, Frosty, you said that you play it enough back and forth, you don't fully know. That's good enough. Because there is a line you go overboard. There's a line you think too much to the point that it becomes that it has to be this way or not. And that is the problem. That is the problem with the game, that why people cannot accept it. If you keep an open mind, if you are willing to like, okay, I know enough, I think it will be nice that this might happen, that might happen, and then look back. That's actually more healthy. That's actually more fun. Like what video game should be, offline game Final Fantasy should be. But when people go over obsessed about what must happen, take one example, this must stick to the OG. Oh, this person and that person must be together. That's where they cross the line. And that's where you see dumb shit. That's what Maximilian is facing. Like, he loves the game. He knows the game more or as much as we do. But then when he tried to like explain it to two different generations, these motherfuckers don't get it. They just don't get it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I'm going to be honest. Some of this stuff resonates in the Final Fantasy 14 community. Not maybe as this extreme, but the people who follow the story and want to talk about theories. And if you start talking, they're so connected.
I
to
know
the
what you're
story.
talking about. You don't want to go down this road.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
go down this. All right, but
I know exactly what you're. Oh god.
people just it's so they love the again. It's so much, but it does eventually get to that point of it's my identity, and you better not fuck with my identity. You better not fuck with Thancrit, right? You better not fuck with these people in this story, because if you do, then I fucking hate you, right? And so we feel a lot of that stuff already in our own community in some way. This is a huge explosion of that with Final Fantasy VII, because I think Final Fantasy VII is very special to a lot of people, right? It is something that a lot of people hold close and dear, and it is part of their identity growing up. This was part of their coming of age games, right? This was part of, like, you know, everyone was getting into RPGs in a way, with Final Fantasy VII being the staple of connection for multiple people getting into RPGs. I feel like, at least. But I mean, then you have the new generation that's kind of exploring it, trying to make sense of everything that's going on. And I wish we could have healthy conversations.
Like, no, Chrono Trigger is really, and then you get that, and it's a whole other thing.
Right. Chrono Trigger, it was a masterpiece of a game, but it was not nearly as popular as Final Fantasy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I actually have that DS version too.
7 is just revolutionary. It is a transition. Let me put it this way. Final Fantasy VII is a transition from your classic 8-bit, 16-bit, whatever, into what it was. And then after that, that's where 8 follows, that's where 9 follows, that's where 10 follows. And then they go through another transition, which is from 12, I guess. But 13 is where the main transition, and that transition didn't work very well. But 7 is the first one that just wow everyone. Like you said earlier, like during that time, that you look at the graphic, you're like, what the holy shit.
It was the Super Mario 64 of the
yes.
RPGs, yeah.
Yeah. It's just revolution, you know, like it's a revolution, it's a revolution. So it's like it's not just for the gameplay, it's just how that was the first transition of how we saw how gaming started. How we see
going from
in
32-bit to 3D, right? I mean, and that jump in what people could do, and the people behind 7 did it really well for what the tools they had and everything else. And they used some of the concepts they had previously from making 6 and whatever, and they went forward with this.
You don't know? Do you know that what game was originally supposed to be Final Fantasy VII?
No.
Believe it was Xenosaga was supposed to be Final Fantasy
Really?
VII originally. I think it was, yeah, I'm pretty sure Xenosaga was their initial concept for 7, and then they decided not to do that. Xenogears, sorry. I knew it was one of the Xeno games, yeah.
Well, I'm glad they did it, because this game was made instead. And so, I mean, again, we're coming from our perspective, right? And there's other people out there that are talking about it, and I hope that anyone that's out there talking about this game tries to keep a healthy mindset with having these conversations. And literally, it doesn't matter what people's opinions are. If they disagree with you, it's okay. Just don't be an asshole, right? It's don't.
Oh, they will be.
It's just don't be a piece of shit.
I'm looking at YouTube already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at you, YouTube. No, I wanted to, again, the reason why I brought you guys on and I want to do this episode is because, again, it's a very difficult thing to talk about with people, because I can't talk about it on my channel. Like, I am not allowing people to talk about this on my channel when I'm not playing the game, because I don't want to spoil other people.
Oh.
So I don't know, Arthars, maybe you're that, but I mean, like, hey, that's my rule right now, because I don't want to fuck this experience for other people, because it is an experience. It's a huge experience.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, it's not just 7, right? Like, whenever there's a new Marvel movie, whenever there's like a new game, when I do 14, I just don't talk about. I mean, same for One Piece. If there's a new episode that you can watch online, you know, the manga, I don't talk about it. Like I avoid it, not because, okay, number one, like, it's impossible to get a proper conversation because these people don't know shit. Number 2, it doesn't make sense since you're streaming Final Fantasy 14, right? And then number 3, obviously, yeah, like you said, you know, people should enjoy it. And I want to reinforce what you said earlier, you know, keep it a healthy mindset, open mindset, because let's not forget, this game is not done yet. And I want to emphasize this because this is gonna go very important in the moment we start the discussion. This game is not done yet. So everything we say here, everything we think could be wrong. And that works both ways. Whatever theory you have out there, just keep an open mind that you could be wrong. You know, just treat it as a theory crafting, treat it as a maybe, but not absolute, you know, because I think Rebirth has some things that happen that is like, yeah, we kind of think that it's gonna happen, and then we are like, oh shit, you know. So a lot of us were also wrong coming into Rebirth, right? So yeah.
This is what the way that they have formed the story opened it up to say anything can fucking happen. Basically, it feels like anything can happen. Even what we saw isn't real, right? We have a lot of stuff that's going on within this. Like when I first saw that when it starts you off with Zack, right? And you're just like, all right, okay, what is going on here? And then you see Red die in the helicopter, it looks like, right? And then you see Aerith in a bed, and you see different people are dead, and you're like, what's going on? And then you're trying to like put this together of this multi-dimensional, crazy, whatever thing that's happening. And every time they went to Zack, I'd be like, why are you fucking doing this to me? Why are you giving me 5 minutes? Why are you giving me 5 minutes of what the fuck? Because did I have to wait 10 hours for 5 more minutes? Right? They did it real well.
Are we beginning already, by the way?
Yeah, we can start it. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean, like my experience going into
honestly, I was very happy the way they did to the Zack gameplay in the game, because one of the worry about remake when we saw the ending for part 1 for remake is that, oh god, are we gonna be playing multiple characters? Are we going back and forth timeline? Is it gonna be over confusing? When it's not just video game. When you watch movie, when you watch shows, when you play around your narrative, around time travel, it's always gonna be a shit show. Always gonna be a shit show. Like there's no such thing as this should be right, that should be correct, you should do this, you should do that. No, the moment you touch time, it's just a shit show, because you are talking about multiple possibility, multiple like conclusion and stuff. It's just never gonna work, right? So that is the biggest problem when we finish remake, is that, oh shit, it's the multiverse. Obviously it's the multiverse. Oh my god, now here goes Nomura, even though he has almost nothing to do with it. He's not a story writer, right? But anyway, that's the meme, right? So then it's like, okay, yeah, now we go into Rebirth. What is Zack's role? I am glad that throughout the game, it is just another timeline that honestly is just there for such a short explanation of a very simple thing. The multiverse exists. And he almost have zero part to the main game. Because I think the whole Rebirth, right, 90% up to chapter 14, honestly, is just very true, almost 90%, 85, 90%, very true to the OG. So it's like when I tell people the same thing for Marvel, right? Yes, Marvel Phase 4 ended with the multiverse starting, right? But if you actually think about it, just like our real, I mean, we can't really like confirm or deny that, even in our real world universe, that the multiverse don't exist. Okay, I know maybe that's
okay, we're going pretty big today. Let's get yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's another timeline. It doesn't matter whether Marvel open another timeline. It doesn't matter whether Final Fantasy 7 have another timeline. Because as long as it don't really intervene too much while we play through the main timeline, it really doesn't matter. And for them to make Zack's timeline like that, just okay. And then at the end, it's like, okay, fuck. I mean, to be honest, did Zack really need to be even playable? Zack can literally just be a narrative character. It wouldn't change anything. That's exactly what I was hoping for, that we don't touch too much about it. But at the same time, kind of set up like the Rebirth. It's just like, you say pre-show, maybe it's not a remake. Maybe it's a sequel. Maybe it's something new, but we don't know. But at least I think Sephiroth and then the Zack timeline kind of like at least set us in place. And it's like, guys, don't worry. At the end of the day, we are still focusing for now. We are before the next part. For now, at the end of Rebirth, we are still focusing on the main timeline. So it's almost as if the OG don't matter. It's almost as if the Zack timeline don't matter. It's almost as if the 3rd, 4th, 5th stamp that we see at that chapter onwards, it's just, they're explaining the branch. It's just like, it didn't matter. At the end of the day, what we are doing right now in this timeline is the only thing that matters. Why think so much about those?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, well, going back
Yeah.
to the remake, right? And that whole experience going through it, it was literally we didn't know what to expect from it. We thought, hey, they were just making the game and it's just gonna be that first little part. All right, we'll just play through it, updated graphics, cool. But then they introduced the whole, hey, something's a little different, right? And they start like adding these elements in there to say, hey, you're not really playing exactly the same game, and they're trying to set you up for that conversation, and then you're battling fate. That is the narrative, and what our experience is going through this is that you're battling fate in some way. Is fate inevitable? Is fate, not inevitable, right? Can we change things? And that's the story at the end, and it explodes at the very end. And I thought the remake was good. This was 10 times better. I'm sorry, Rebirth was like way better to me than the remake was. But the remake set this up fairly well. But anyways, yeah, that transition going from remake into Rebirth, I felt made it so much more interesting than just remaking the game, right? Because there is something new to experience, but you still get your old game too. It's like having your cake and eating it too. Is that the right? I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the big thing is that remake, like you said, remake makes you think that you're actually playing the sequel. I don't think Rebirth 100% makes you feel that way. Rebirth's twists that tie back into remake, they make sense in the context of the original game more than remakes changes make sense in the context of the original game. Like the way they're handling Cloud's going full psycho mode is a great deal different, and it's explained using the live. I think the highlight is that the live stream is the thing they're trying to make more prevalent more than anything else. Because in the original, they just constantly refer to the live stream, and that Sephiroth was in the live stream all this time. It's essentially just kind of delivered as, the live stream is where Sephiroth is, and that's why Holy's not working. Like, other than that, it's just the planet's going to die if we don't stop it. Here, it's like the live stream is like a coalescing, is like coalescing memories and making alternate sort of basically playing out fate in different ways. It's almost like it's toying with the idea of what like a good fate would be. In some sense, it's funny. It reminds me of Final Fantasy 11 because that's exactly what Altana does in Final Fantasy 11. A bit of a spoiler for that one. And it doesn't really feel confusing this time. Like, are there questions? Yeah, but I'm not really confused. Whereas with remake, there was the discussion about, are the three Whisper characters just, Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett from like the true timeline? Like, there was all that stuff going on, and it was a bit much. Here it was like, oh, I got it. Well, I wonder how it'll be. I wonder what'll really be different next time.
I mean, I'll let you know. I barely remember. Not barely remember. So I didn't ever replay 7 in the last decade, right? I never went back and replayed it to have that reference of the original. So I actually am going with loose memories of 7 going into this. I actually didn't replay the remake either. I played it in 2020, right? But I didn't do a full replay coming up to this. So I'm actually going off of loose memories of it, which most people, I think, would be doing that going into this game without replaying all those games. But Happy, I think you've played through some of those older ones recently too, though. Right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I mean, like, we have a few different perspectives here in that regard too. But when the big thing again was Zack at the end of remake made us think, what is Zack's gonna play out as coming into this game? And he just turned in to be a side every once in a while. Hey, something different's going on here. Just a reminder, Zack's doing something over here, and it's not in your current universe because it wouldn't make any sense. That's kind of what we could kind of figure out. And so you get that reference. They immediately feed it to you right out the gate, and then you just get into the game again, and you're going through the story of Nibelheim and like all the stuff that's going on over there, and it's not really Cloud going through that if you have that past experience, right? But they play that out pretty well, I think, is in the same regard.
Yeah.
Very well done.
That's probably one of my favorite thing is they don't let Cloud just not fucking figure out what's going on the entire game. Like, he's pretty much confronted with what actually happened right from the get-go, and it's a point of tension. So it never. That's one thing in the original where just suddenly Tifa's like 2.5 discs in, just like, yeah, I knew. I just didn't say anything the whole time. I just thought you were. I just thought something was up. I don't know. Didn't think it was important. You know.
Yeah.
It's very nice how they put that demo portion, the chapter 1 in, to the point that you can actually, like, you see, like Tifa knew? Now maybe a little bit, sure. But then it's like they do it so well that it's almost as if, like, you know what, Cloud ain't lying. You know? But when you play the OG, it's like you get the feeling that Tifa is just like, what the fuck, Cloud? Okay, you know what, I'll play along. But this one is more like, okay, Cloud is not fully off here. I mean, you know, he's facing some problems now, so maybe his memory is a little bit different, but 8 out of 10 things he said is kind of correct. So you don't really have the doubt there. But then in OG, it's just like, oh shit, that's Cloud. Oh, that's Cloud. That's Cloud. Wait, what the fuck? That's not Cloud in these two, you know? These 2 to 3. And then it's like, here, I think they do such a way better job in transiting. Yeah.
And memory's a fickle fucking thing, though. I mean, like, he was really off the mark. Right? He put himself in someone's shoes.
Can I have a special shout out to the voice actor?
Yeah.
For the Cloud. Like, holy shit, man, you are voice acting Cloud, and then somehow when you go to the Zack, you have to cosplay. You have to voice act Cloud, but in Zack's kind of tone. It's just so well done. Perfect.
Yeah.
Also,
the
big
voice
shout out
actors
to
were fucking
Yuffie.
tremendous. They were
In the OG, I wasn't really into Yuffie. Holy shit, Yuffie Raid 13 is the highlight of Rebirth for me.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking well done.
Yeah, Yuffie was. I specifically tweeted out about Susie. For those who don't know, Susie Young, voice of Yuffie.
Yeah, she did an amazing job. You know, and you felt like what you needed to feel for all these different characters, right? The young, annoying kind of personality that Yuffie sometimes has. Yeah, it worked out fairly well. The one that caught me the most off guard, of course, was Cat Sif, 8 Sif. All right. Because it was just the accent, just everything, and like that became that personality, though. It became that character.
Well, you know why he has that accent, right?
No,
because the creature he is from that folklore. Like that's what that creature is based on. Yeah. Okay. But I think it's funny because it means Reeve somehow would have to know about that exact folklore and have given him that accent that we haven't heard anywhere else in the game.
Yeah.
And have it speak with that. Like that means Reeve went way out of the way with this one.
Yeah. No, Reeve probably programmed a voice translate, you know, whatever, you know, and just said.
Yeah, but even the mannerisms, like he even uses like slang and everything that's like specific.
It's true. It's true. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. Is it 100% Reeve is controlling Kate Sif, or is it like just an AI program that he's configuring and making happen?
It's nice you brought it up because, okay, same like Frosty, I never revisited the OG. I'm just living through vivid memory. So it's nice that we have Happy here to maybe confirm. Now, in the OG, right, at the Temple of Ancients, right, when Kate helped the party, at that point, at some point, Reeve already shut off controls already. So then there was a little nice like walking scene along those painting where Casey is like, oh wait, why am I still acting this way? I thought I'm already shut off. Wait, why am I acting on my own? That was actually just the one scene, a very brief moment that kind of implied that AI became like aware. It's actually like, holy shit, Casey is not just a puppet being controlled. At that point, when it was shut off to the point that he sacrificed himself, he actually have self-awareness that he started wondering, oh, why am I still doing this? Oh my God, maybe because, you know, I really feel that these are people that I really want to protect. Oh my God, I'm now sentient. Okay, and then he's dead. You know, so then I was really hoping that in Rebirth, in Remake, they will touch on more of that because that was the only time that it actually feel for me that Casey is like, oh wow, holy shit, that actually is such a nice touch that this character actually had his moment. And obviously, a few cutscenes later, hey guys, I'm back, even in the OG. So I think people forget about it. And then obviously, Aerith dying overshadowed that little detail in OG that maybe people felt like, oh shit, Kid Steve is actually not that annoying or not that quote unquote maybe meaningless compared to what people think. But then in this Rebirth, they don't even mention it. It's just like shut down. Hey, I'm back. So it's like, wait, what?
Well,
that
I
was
mean,
a little bit
like
weird for me,
the reason why I even that spark comes into mind is because there's no way Reeve could sit there as much as we need him to be inside that character, as much as we fight constantly.
No, that's not true
controlling
because actually 7 there's no flow of time. There's no day-night cycle. So the implication is essentially that the events are only happening they almost kind of happen within a time bubble. There's no like since there's no passage of time, anything you do between story point A and story point B, it's just implied that exactly the amount of time in the day happened during all of that. So a day can stretch on for a week in all essence, because all they care about is the continuity of the story.
Okay. Well, it's when I don't know. I feel like Kate Sif had it's fine. It makes sense that he's just a straight puppet, but at the same time, there's at least some kind of like, this is a little much for just a puppet to be doing, and maybe they shut down just to update. Right? Maybe it's just a quick update to the AI. I don't know. Maybe there's like maybe it's just like the characters we're playing, where they kind of do their own thing, but every once in a while we jump in their body and control their actions, right? Maybe it's the same thing, right? I'm spitballing stupidity. I'm sure I had a couple of YouTube comments angry about what I just said, but that's okay. All right, that's why we're here.
Kune, Dene. Yeah, he had all of the all of the lingo. I'm telling you, Reeve reached into another universe for that voice modulator alone.
Yeah. But I mean, going through that whole experience, one of the biggest things, like starting out, you got Nibelheim, you're going through the whole city and you're doing that, and then they're like, hey man, look at this whole fucking world that we've built, we've just completely brought to life, which they didn't really do in Remake. This was insane.
They did. It was just only one part of it. It was just all Midgar.
Right. And so I do feel, but it felt like you could travel around, move around, and do a lot of stuff within the game that I wasn't expected to put the time into. I expected to be a little bit more hallway-esque, I guess.
No, they touted the world map like from the get-go when they were talking about the game. So I was pretty yeah. And keep in mind, I want to say the one-to-one thing I think was the most important bit for me, because I think there's a mismatch in the perspective of how big the world is supposed to be versus how much time it takes to travel. So in the original, the way that scaling is done, and this is true of a lot of RPGs, in the world map, you're giant, not because that's actually your size, but because there's no reason for them to make it take longer than whatever distance they determine you need to take. So I think when people thought it was coming down to Rebirth, that it was going to be like as if you weren't big on the world map. But they scaled it in such a way that it realistically takes 2 or 3 minutes to run across the entire map. So you technically take about the same time to run across the map in this as you do in the other. You just don't look enormous anymore.
Right.
So that makes it so that it's not an absolute slog to just go places. Like maybe whether or not you're into all the side questing or whatnot, and that slows you down. Completely different conversation from the actual A to B travel just on foot in the game, which they could have royally screwed up. And a lot of open world games do. I'd even say Elden Ring struggles a little bit with that problem. With a lot of space in between too many things.
Too much.
Yeah. So I think they got the scale of the world particularly right, especially for the amount of activities they wanted, which is not, it's a lot, but it could be a lot more given the space that they gave it.
Yeah. The fast travel, there's always a debate on fast travel, and how that implemented into games, but it was needed here and it did a really great job. I think that go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I don't feel like it diminished anything, the game. I felt like it was perfectly fit into the game, the way that they implemented it.
It's just the very first time I go to the open world, I'm like, oh shit, do I need to explore every single corner? One thing, let me tell you one thing about open world is sometimes, right, you don't want to spend too much time looking for that one small thing you are so afraid to miss, especially as a single player RPG. player. Especially some of us here play OG, we know that there are things that once you miss, it's fucking over.
Mm.
You know, so this time it's like, man, I don't want to miss anything. So when I first explored, I'm like, man, but this is too big. But then like Happy say, okay, that actually is not that big. So then it forms a contradiction and a conflict within me. It's like, okay, if it's not that big, then I should check it out. Wait, but if I check it out, I'm gonna take more time. So luckily, at some point, I just decided to go ahead. And I was just like, I'm so glad the way they do the open world and then they fill in the blanks when you start unlocking things. I thought that was fucking brilliant. It's like, wow, you didn't miss, you actually wouldn't miss anything. You will only miss something if you didn't complete a quest or you didn't open a tower, for example. Right? But even if you don't open a tower, you can technically still solo and find the stuffs. They are still there. Right? So I kind of feel like they did it really well that you can still do it yourself, but there's just no reason to. And even if you get the tower intel, it's still fun to traverse here to there and do that. Now, here's the problem. As Final Fantasy 14 player, because we play MMORPG, we have viewers, we have players that is like, oh shit, we want the QOL, we want the min-max, we want the challenging stuff. And then they will be coming to like, yo, Arthars, what do you feel about the quest? Don't you think it's super boring? Oh, this mini quest is so easy. Oh, that mob is so easy. You as a 14 player, how do you feel? I look at them, I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This is a different game. This is a JRPG. This is a single player game. This is for everybody. This is not for people who are try hard. This is not for MMORPG player who wants to grind something just so that they get 1% chance of getting an item. Yes, the mini game might be, to some people it's stupid. Some of this intel is like boring, draggy. But this is, some of the puzzle, you have to drag those vacuum cleaner and suck up those Marco thingy. Oh, that is so dumb. What? I'm like, dude, this is a role-playing game. When you do this motion, it serves a purpose because it's a role-playing game. Now, if this thing is in MMORPG, I would be shit on it. This is a waste of time. I just want to play with other people. But when you play an RPG game, you are role-playing, you are playing by yourself. This thing makes sense. These are the things that fill in and makes you feel like you're playing the game. And then everybody's like, oh, wow, you are so different when you play a single-player game versus MMO. I'm like, of course, because it's a single-player RPG. I swear to God, man. Those Final Fantasy 14 players, it's just like they seems like they don't fucking understand the difference. Oh, why are you watching story? Because it's a single player game. I buy a single player game to watch story.
That's your chat, dude. I had no problem at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everybody's
like,
yeah, you should.
My chat is.
Yeah, they I had a lot of like just excited to see what was going on with the story. Excited to see all the different things. Every once in a while, when I got to the vacuum cleaner, I'm like, I bounce off falling rocks. Why can't I just jump over this fucking fence? You know
what I do?
You
know what I do when I play RPG game, right? I like to do dumb shit just to see whether the developer have thought about it. When I first time grabbed the vacuum cleaner, I was wondering, with a wire snap, how far can I go? Sometimes when I bump into people, I just want to see, sometimes when I go to town and I just run by everything, I just everything. I'm like, yo, you think they go pick that shit up? So like when I play single player game, I will actually spend time and attention to all these little details, So it's like, what if I talk to this person 5 times in a row?
And that was a problem for me. Dude,
play Dragon's Dogma then.
Here's the thing. They did so well with little things in this game. Little tiny things that they don't over exaggerate, they don't do anything. But when Yuffie's in cutscenes and she's just like mimicking the other person, right? Just little tiny things that they just add to it so much and gets you kind of invested in these scenes, and it shows their personality. Every time they had a chance to like show something, they did it, and they wouldn't like force it upon you, but they made the atmosphere so good, dude. God damn.
I think that's nice details. No more evident than the date scenes, which I did do all of.
I've only done the one because I was like, this
and I
is
think
my
we all
decision.
did the same one first. I think we all ended up with Tifa first.
Did we all end up with Tifa? So
I think that I didn't even try. The game gave it, like, I didn't do anything special to do that, and I got there. I think the game leads you in that direction just naturally. So I think most people will see that. Yeah, I mean, you can mess it up. The big place you mess it up is just not talking to people in town. That's probably the biggest place you can mess it up.
Xeno just got to the point that he's sick of the side thing. He just want to finish the game. And then he missed the he just missed it. Yeah.
That'll do it. Like, I did all the side stuff. I did everything. But that's because I enjoy doing it too, right? I would go in there and the side quests, for the most part, there's a couple things I'm like, but for the most part, I enjoyed the side quest, right? I enjoyed doing them. I enjoyed going through this whole process and learning a little bit more, or just having fun with it. And then I said to myself, I will do everything, answer things the way that I feel like should be answered. If it's not the right answer, fuck it. I'll end up with whatever I end up with, right? I'm just going to do all the things, and whatever it ends up as, I end up with. So Tifa is Cloud's girlfriend in my playthrough, and forever, right? That's it. That's just how it goes. I don't expect any kind of change in the story.
God, the shippers are so mad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
mad.
Oh my God.
I thought it was hilarious. No,
Jesus
probably not. But I was so glad to see it. I was like, I'm just sitting there like alone, you know, because I'm playing it before it's out, and I'm just like, I'm so glad this is here. It didn't matter to me, but I'm like, I need to see Aerith's, because if until I see that one, I won't really know how this goes. And I'm like, and then I saw Aerith's, I was like, yes.
I actually don't even know what Aerith's is. You could tell me though. Tell me.
Okay.
He really just comforts her about Zach. He like holds her hand briefly and like gives her a shoulder to like rest on. Yeah.
Whoa, Happy, come on. Now we're gonna talk about the sheeper's perspective. This is what I read. Okay, I want to know how you feel about Happy. Guys, a kiss means nothing. In my opinion, holding hands and the way they lock their hands is even more powerful than a kiss. This is what I fucking read from people who thinks that like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is how delusional these people are. For me, when I see it, right, it's just an acknowledgement. You know how when we play Remake, Rebirth, or this whole thing, we just want closure. We want we want to see things that is meant to be. Over the course of 27 years, you saw things, you see this. Yes, you can have questions and stuff, but we all know deep inside us that Cloud and Tifa is just meant to be together. Yeah. Right. So when I saw
everyone kind of accepts they probably boned in the original as it is. That's largely the accepted outcome of the game. It's not just they just fell asleep next to each other overnight.
Yeah. I mean, we still can get that in the third part. You know what I mean?
But we still have that part coming.
And anyway, like same for Happy. When I saw I literally was a little bit in tears when I say, I'm like, fucking hell, man, this is what we need. End of discussion, you know. And then I was like, wait, hold up, I haven't seen the Aerith one. Somebody please tell me what it is. And then they were just like, oh, it's just holding hands. It's just like, and I'm like, yay. And then when I obviously look at all this shipper stuff, I'm like, dude, these motherfuckers just cannot accept, which is fine. But then this is what I think, right? Dude, let's be honest, Zack is fucking dead. Zack is dead as fuck.
He's in another universe, dude. He's alive somewhere.
No, yes.
I think I know where Arthars is going with this.
So in this timeline, he is dead. At that point, he's gone. Dude, Aerith is a beautiful girl. I like Aerith. In the OG, I like Aerith. Again, this is because it took us until 2.5 days later for us to realize that Tifa is there for a reason. I always thought Tifa is just a random NPCB. At the beginning, I'm like, Aerith is purely, obviously, the female protagonist, right? All these interactions, she's the main one. She's the main opposing one to Sephiroth, right? And then after the wheelchair scene, I'm just like, holy shit, that's where Tifa became waifu for me, right? Dude, let me tell you something really cringe. I like Aerith so much in the original. I actually went to MIRC and chit-chat, and I chit-chat with this girl in MIRC called Flower Girl. And then we chit-chat, and then we actually dated, and that in Singapore. And then she's like, how did we get to talk? I said, because you remind me of someone. That's how fucking cringe I was, okay? Now, obviously she knows who. That's why her name is called Flower Girl, right? Which is fine. I like Aerith a lot. When Aerith got stabbed, my sister was sitting beside me, and I was just like, I don't want to play the game anymore. I took 2 days off. And then my sister is like consoling me. It's okay. If you keep playing, maybe she will be alive. That's what my sister told me. And then 2 days later, when I load it up again, I have to fight Genova. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this game, man? I was already so angry. I'm so pissed. I was fighting Genova, so pissed off. I'm like, fuck you, bitch. How dare you do that to Aerith? Dude, I like Aerith. I love Aerith. But then you have to understand, Zack is gone. Aerith is a beautiful girl. Cloud is a nice-looking guy. I don't blame Aerith to suddenly have a little bit of feeling, and Cloud is single. I don't expect Cloud to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I really like Tifa. No. I mean, dude, look, Tifa didn't say anything, Cloud didn't say anything. It's an open market, man. Right? They have a fling, they chit-chat, they sweet talk one another. But look, at the end of the day, Aerith is fucking dead. Just like how Zack was dead, Arif got to move on. That's just how relationship work. Arif is dead, Cloud got to move on, Tifa is dead. End of story. They live happily ever after. Zack and Arif is dead. They maybe reunion somewhere. That's it, man. I don't know why people is still like, oh, did you see in Ever Children? Tifa
Zach and
Cloud
Aerith
is
are
still
together
like,
in the live stream. Okay, they're fine.
we don't know that yet. I
They're-
mean, we
well, in the story, their life
Yeah.
energy, you know.
Well, no. So I do think that's probably where it's at. So in Advent
That's why
Children,
they hate it.
one of the big things is they set up that they're both essentially together in the live stream.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I think that's the direction they're trying to take it at this point. Like here's the thing, it's not about whether this is a sequel to Advent Children, which is the large discussion. It's that they specifically said the remake trilogy is a culmination of
go
all
into-
the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. And so they're cleaning all, they're like basically ironing out things that are presented in all of them. It's why Deep Ground is there. It's why we're going to be seeing a lot more of Vincent probably and how he ties into all of that.
Yeah.
But they're probably looking at the way those two essentially get a happy ending in Advent Children and probably trying to lead in that direction more than anything else.
See, like, I mean, God, shall we talk about it? I mean, Aerith's dead. She's dead.
Yeah, she's
Now,
dead.
right? Now,
Yeah.
at the end, with those, another copium moment. Oh, Tifa's romance have to be unlocked via the affinity, which is, not really canon. Oh, but the Aerith and Cloud one at chapter 14 is canon. They are together. I'm like, no, because she's dead. You just finished part 2. She's dead. This is her moment. This is her last chance to be nice to a guy that maybe she just really likes because her ex is, or maybe not even ex, her first love is gone. Give her this moment. Because once you go to this tree and you see the live stream scene, it's over. Every theory, every copium you guys have, it's done. Okay? So it's just, for me, it's just crazy how people still think, You still think, because, okay, one thing I was really upset about this Rebirth is that out of all the scenes that they do, they didn't put Zack and Aerith to even glance in one scene.
No, I'm glad they didn't do that here. I think they needed that for the third game. I think they actually need that in the third
They want to
game.
blow it up,
Yeah, they want to blow that. Because here's the thing. Let's be really honest about one thing. Aerith's going to be playable again in 3. May not be all the time. She's not going to be a party member.
She'll be in the Zack
She will be.
scenes.
Yeah, no, honestly, she might actually be. Because I had a theory. So when I was playing by myself, it warns you before the final fight to like make sure everyone's equipped. And I'm like, Aerith's an option here still. I bet that I get to use her even after she dies. And then I knew it. And I was like, all right, I called that one. Thank goodness I called that one.
It is very nice that they make Zack playable and they also make Aerith playable, but not in the world. It's just like another dimension, which is nice touch, because this also means that going into part 3, yes, Aerith is dead. But I mean, we all know that Aerith is dead, even in the OG, but in Advent Children, in stuff, she's still there. She's still there. She's technically still part of the party. It's just like she is, just spiritually there, right? If we put it that way. But it's nice that in at the ending, they make her like you can fight with her together. Zack and a Cloud fight together. It's just like there is a place, there is a setting that all these characters can still be alive, even though they are gone. So that's honestly one of the biggest thing about this remake trilogy, is that they want you to let you know that yes, Zack is dead, but he's still there. Aerith is dead, he's still there. Zack and Aerith can still have a happy ending, even though if they are dead. So it's really nice that they put it this way, because I'm pretty sure like at some point, let's just say in the third part, we will also get like another one of this moment where somehow you are fighting somewhere and then together, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that is one thing to take note. Although they are dead, I mean, but physically they can't be. I mean,
And I'm gonna let you know,
they just can't be together anymore.
like they did their deaths they did Aerith stuff so well, right? This was like probably like perfection. I think almost in how they handled it, even though there's like this touch of confusion, but that was the point, is to have this touch of confusion on all this stuff. And the cutscenes leading up, going through that tunnel where they all go in their own little rooms, I felt like I was watching an art movie, right? How they shot the scenes, when things happened in those scenes, Like when Aerith's like cut off and she just goes to nothing at the very end, you felt that, right? You felt a lot of stuff they did that like I don't really fucking I wasn't expecting them to put so much work, and because they add so much like anime cliche goofy stuff throughout the entire game, when you get these really serious, hard, like really well done scenes, it kind of throws you off because you're just not expecting it. And so like, and the way, because everyone playing this game knew that's what we're leading to, right? Aerith's death is the
Yes.
point of this entire
the
story, leading up to that point. That's like, if you have any kind of previous experience with Final Fantasy VII, that's where we're ending at. That's the whole thing.
Dude,
And we got there, and they just fucking knew. Everybody was playing this game to figure out what was happening with that, and they took us for a fucking ride.
Dude, that walk up to that altar is just, I almost have a heart attack. I'm just like,
It's a lot better than the originals where you're fucking hopping on these stones and you're just like,
fuck, man, that part, I still got goosebumps thinking about it. Like, fuck, man, the suspense is just, you know, if you're watching a movie, yeah, sure. Dude, you are holding the controller. That walk up is one of the most nerve-wracking walk up to that point.
And then when Cloud saves her in the first thing, and you're just like, you know, they're just throwing you the fuck around the entire time, and you're just like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. Chat brings it up. For me, I think the scene they actually translated best and the least confusing way would be Dine's scene.
Oh god!
Although I was like, where did he get it? Where did he get a tentacle monster? But I stopped. I gave up on trying to figure that out immediately.
To be honest with you, like, yeah, that whole thing was kind of weird. But like, when they did Barrett's stuff, they did it really well to where like you just experience this friend who's just losing his mind, that's really close to you. You thought was dead. You thought maybe I'm going to, bring it back, and then you find out he's lost again, and you're like, man, maybe I can say, God, fuck, dude. Like, how?
Every character was very well done.
Jesus Christ, man.
Very, very well done.
Yeah, they didn't mess around, and they made sure every asset they used in Remake came back to with all the side quests and characters. They didn't really lighten up on even a single one. Not to mention they got I can't pronounce the dude's last name. There's no way. He does Gilgamesh's voice. He's been doing it since Final Fantasy 13, I think. 13-2 is the first time he did the voice. He does it in World of Final Fantasy. He does it here. I think he did it in 14 for the one instance where Gilgamesh is voiced in 14.
I actually don't recognize that voice.
I can't pronounce his last name. I literally couldn't tell it to you even if I wanted to.
But that was done really well too. Gilgamesh overall was done really well.
Dude,
it was just a side thing.
It was the
right?
best.
Well,
it was the best side quest, I think.
Well, yeah, it was like the main side quest of all the side quests, right?
It's really, really good. Like you see, that's the thing, right? We talk about again. We come back to talk about the Barret or even just every story. You see, a lot of people, oh, that's different from OG. No, it's not. It's expanded. It's explained better. Back then, shit graphic. Back then, shit script. Back then, limitation. Now they have the chance to do it right. And dude, we are never going to get another remake. There won't be another remake in the next 10, 20, 50, 100. I don't think there will be another 7 remake. This is it. This is the one.
Yeah, this is 7's end. Yeah.
This is the last time. This is the first time, and this is the last time. They have to get it all right. So for them to make it 3Ds, for them to expand so much, oh my god, big guy is so big, the remake is so boring. They have to get it right. This is it. They don't want to miss anything. Why do people not see that, you know?
I mean, so they might throw books out there or something, right? I don't know, but like this is the core of it, right? This is the meat of the whole remake and the possible sequel of this whole thing being, right? And like I love it so much. Like I was talking to someone, I was like, yeah, I've played 100 hours in that game. I'm like, holy crap! It's like, is it a good remake? I'm like, man, this is a real hard conversation to fucking have with you right now. I don't know if I can talk about it.
Somebody who hasn't played it but played the original, and they're like, oh yeah, what's it like? And they're like,
you
just gotta play it. It's good.
Yeah. Like I don't think people appreciate it. You know, like like sometimes a lot of us have this all of us have a bucket list. One of the things as a gamer, now gamer bucket list, one of the gamer bucket lists is you want to see 7 remake. You
Yeah.
really want to. It's been there. Like, dude, you have to pull it out. I will be so pissed if they pull it out when I'm dying. You know, it's the same for One Piece, by the way. You wanna see the ending of One Piece. Like as a manga enjoyer, one bucket list is you want the see of ending of One Piece. I think we're gonna get it. Hopefully, anyway, that's a different discussion. 7 remake is the one that we want to see. You know,
Yeah,
like,
you know, back in the
I'm
day,
so glad.
I remember seeing the memes of like, if Square Enix is ever in trouble, hit the button, Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? And that was like,
break glass for 7 remake.
yeah, that was, everybody was just waiting for that because that was the one game that they would 100% see no matter what. And with the remake that they did well, and I was like, yeah, this is good, this is acceptable, I'm fine with this is kind of neat, it's interesting. And Rebirth, they're like, this is what I have to have in my life, right? This is important to me right now.
This set a very high standard. By the way, Capcom also did an amazing job in this front. Capcom Final Fantasy VII set, Resident Evil, set an amazing job of how remake should be done. And I honestly think, right, sometimes, right, now this might be a bad take or whatever. I feel like sometimes, right, with how games are so hard to make today, because you have to come up with new things, new graphic, new asset, new character, new area, new story, and then do all this stuff. I sometimes think that those take away part of important part of the game, like being more detailed, better narrative, design and stuff. I actually don't mind moving forward the next 10, 20 years. Games actually start looking back at some of these amazing games that we have so many amazing games since like Nintendo, since like a PlayStation 1. I wouldn't mind games start looking back and like, you know what? Fuck making new games. Just find some of the good games that we had back then, expand it, give it justice. And like 7 is the example that we all know already. The characteristics are there, the areas are there, how the game is played, how this character move and stuff, talk to one another is there. We just have to make it better. And I think, honestly, I don't think 7 in terms of, say, character design, area design, or combat, I don't think they need to go as far as how Yoshi have to, like, from the ground up, and it's like, holy fuck, how do I make a Final Fantasy 16? I think 7 remake overall is actually easier. Most of the things are like, we know what we are doing.
You know, it's funny. I feel that the most in the soundtrack, because I said this before and it was a bit divisive. I said 16 soundtrack was way more impressionable to me because on all in 7 Rebirth, like the most memorable song to me in 7 Rebirth is not a Genova remix or another battle theme it's the stupid dog theme. That's
the dog
that's
theme,
the most
Sabo theme.
My 2 favorite themes are the dog theme and the Ginatak boss theme, the one with the tribal chanting. That's my other favorite one.
I like the in the sewers you fight those 4 Turks.
Good.
Dude, that one is my fucking favorite.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I loved all the music in this game.
I love the music, but it wasn't as impressionable to me as something like 16, which I think 16 made better set piece songs. But like, again, none of these are bad, but I was not like, after I beat the game, I didn't want to go back. Like when I beat Remake, I wanted to go back and listen to the Airbuster theme. I wanted to go back and listen to the but this just felt like I was just going through the motions music wise because it's 7. So they already have all the baseline stuff. So they're just doing more 7 themes.
To be fair, Final Fantasy VII has had its music remixed a billion times before this game came out.
That's why I think I feel that way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But they did a really good job of all of it. There's a lot, like the dog theme was really good. I like the Merc theme. The Merc theme was really good. Like just stuff that just like got me out. I could just listen to it. I just couldn't stop laughing.
I couldn't believe they brought back Mad Chocobo from 13-2.
The what?
I couldn't believe. Do you think you can ride this Chocobo?
Yeah, that was so.
I didn't see that coming.
The ultimate party animal one? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming. I was like, it's here.
Yeah, it was so good. Like that was what the last was. I put it on easy because I was just like, at that point in the game, I was like, I just want to get through every quest. I have 2 quests, the Gilgamesh to finish up, right? And I have this one, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I set it from normal because I played the whole game in normal. Then I went back, and those 2 quests I put on easy because I was just like, I want to do them, but I'm kind of done because I've spent over 100 hours in this game. I just want to experience it. the ultimate party animal thing was so funny to me because I aced everything except for the battle stuff in normal, and that was
Ooh.
kind of weird. But like at the end, where that dude like walks off, he's like, "I owe it to my employees to be the protector of them." From upper management. I was like, I feel this guy so fucking much.
I was gonna say, I bet you thought like, because you thought as like a working class person, you were just like, oh yeah.
He was so perfect. Like all of the side quests were so. I mean, I didn't get attached to the Chocobo one as much because I was like, come on, man, just tell him the fucking story. Why does he have to go through all this just to know what happened to his fucking parents? Come on, man, why can't you just tell him the whole time? But like the most of the side quests, even the chicken one was so well done, dude. They wanted to piss you off.
I hate those fucking chickens.
they
Dude, when you
wanted
get to
to.
the last chicken and the game starts to make you think you might actually have to do it, you're like, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Yeah,
There better be
Yeah.
something better happen.
How it was so good, and then they kill the chicken at the end, and you're just like they knew it was designed to make you feel emotions, right? And they did so good at making you hate those chickens as much as possible. And then at the end, you're like, okay, I did good. I
You
saved
feel
all these
bad,
chickens.
you know? You still feel bad, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't feel. I was hungry. I was ready to go.
And you felt like the weight of like Red and yourself just kind of like, did this really just happen, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Red, that's another major point that people have gone back and forth on. Red
okay.
faking his voice the entire time.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, what's going on here? Because I couldn't remember too much about it, right? But him faking his voice, I was like, I really would like the adult voice, but then eventually you're like, okay, I kind of accept it, right?
I like when he goes back and forth between the two. Like he'll literally do one sentence to sound smart, and then he'll go back to the other one just to be himself again.
Yeah, yeah. I like.
Is it voiced by the same person?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so funny. Like the first time you hear it, I think it's on the boat, right? You hear it out of Ares' room, you're just like, what the fuck is even happening?
It's in Calm. I'm sorry, not Calm.
Is it Calm?
It's in Junon.
Junon. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, that scene when they were at Costa del Sol kind of threw me off because of that voice change, and I was just thinking about the wrong thing. I actually have to go back to the chapter to think. You know how like in remake, the Aerith clearly knows everything, right? And then suddenly in Rebirth, you felt like, wait, what the hell happened to her? How come she just go back to like being normal? And then that scene actually explained, how they forgot everything because the whispers took it away from them, right? So I was like, oh, because of the voice change, I was so thrown off. I was just like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Who is talking? And I completely missed that detail. I have to go back actually to see. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
So they put it very subtly that the reason why Rebirth she becomes normal is because when they kill the Arbiter of Fate, everything got taken away. So now she doesn't know anything anymore, So it's like, oh.
They're going with the Final Fantasy VIII route and just equip some Guardian Forces, forget everything.
Forget everything, yeah.
Oh, jeez, dude. And I don't know.
You see, these are details that people miss.
Yeah.
These are actually details that people miss,
I mean, I
That's a
missed
lot of
it.
words.
Oh,
to
why is the
remember.
material clear? Wait, what did that happen? How come I thought she had a power. How come, she can let Marlene know this and that? She clearly knows everything. She's an imposter in the first one. Wait, what happened to her? She back to normal? Yeah, because of what happened at the end of
So,
the but people didn't remake. People didn't
Most
know.
fun thing to do is like when I was playing through it, right? And there are people in chat that have already kind of passed that point because that's the only reason they're watching because they're past that point, right? And then I'm just like, I'm reacting to the moment. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are they doing this? And then they're like, just keep watching it. I'm like, hey man, I'm just reacting as I'm going through, okay? I know.
Yeah, I mean that's what streamers have to do.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah.
And they're like, I can't explain it to you. You just have to do it. it's okay.
Classic. Yeah.
Oh.
Time.
But then, like, man, the one of the huge parts, and this is probably a complaint that people had, was this the mini games of this game. They went like fucking ham on. They had just mini games just everywhere. But they were
Gears
all
and
pretty
Gambits.
good.
I made enemies with Gears and Gambits for a little because I refused to use their pre-made ones because I'm like, I'm better than that.
Oh yeah.
So it didn't take me very long to beat it, but I did make enemies with that game.
Yeah, it was rough. I did all of it myself until I got to the very last one. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to figure all this shit out. And I saw like the automated one. I was like, click, and then I just beat it right afterwards. And I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
I'm
there
okay.
is an option.
Yeah, there's an option to have pre-made ones. Yeah.
I have to do everything. I literally play
Hey,
everything.
literally,
myself.
you know
No,
what? Because you didn't read the fucking tutorial pop-up because it says that.
but
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed it, man. Like
Yeah.
it's such
No,
a
it was
breath.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
you see, here's the thing about me, right? When I play Final Fantasy 14, for example, which is the main thing of my stream, right? It's just I'm just too try hard. So when I finally play a single player game on stream, it's just I like to do the side stuff. When I play Yakuza, I saw people always like, "Dude, just finish the story." I'm like, "No, I don't want to play this car game. No, I want to play the a cabaret club thingy. I want to do all this stuff. Like I want to chill. You guys want me to play single player game? No, I'm playing single player game. I want to chill. So I kind of really enjoy all of them. But my God, Queen's Blood is my favorite.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go on a rant about doing the Cactar minigame as Aerith for a second there. I thought you were gearing up.
No. That one is the worst one for me. That one is the worst one. That one I do not want to do it again. No. In fact, all the character one, I don't want to do it again. No.
I had no. I'm going to let you know, I decided I wasn't going to max everything, right? Because I didn't want to put more time into it. I was like, I put more than 100 hours. I'm okay. I don't need to perfect everything. I could live with it. I'm one of the people who could live with it, right? Not everybody could kind of live with that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do all the. I got to the very last ab crunch, and I was like, I'm kind of done. I did it without messing up through an entire thing, and I still didn't win. I was like, there is no way I'm gonna go through this 100 more times until I get really, really good at it and beat it. I was okay with not perfecting everything. That was I had to make some decisions about what I was going to experience in this game, and that was one of the ones that I figured.
That's what I did as well. Yeah, like I do everything, but on the first playthrough, nah, I just want to miss the lore. I don't want to miss the story. Unless the story is you have to do it, then sure, I'll do it. Like the Chocobo one, sure. But it's like everything else is just like, oh, I just get minimum rank. Yeah, whatever. Like yeah.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to take a quick sponsored intermission break to talk about some of our show sponsors, Tokyo Treat and Sakura. If you're unfamiliar with them, let me tell you what they're about. Tokyo Treat is a monthly snack box that includes up to 20 exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks. Sakura is another monthly snack box focused on supporting local Japanese snack makers, which include 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan snacks. They also come with Japanese teas and special items like tableware. With the cherry blossom season in Japan, the boxes for April are themed around Sakura. So naturally, the boxes will have snacks in honor of that. Let's take a look and see what's inside. For Tokyo Treat, the box will come with strawberry Kit Kats, Sakura flavored sweet tart, cream cake, and much, much more. So, enough talking about it. Let's go ahead and just give a try to Tokyo Treat's box here. Let me go ahead and try out their sweet tart. The platinum sweet tart that they have in the box. It already feels pretty decent quality here. But let me go ahead and, like, through the packaging, you can kind of tell it's like, not hard or good. Oh, okay, all right. It looks like it's kind of, a baked good, like, I don't know, it's not deviled eggs, but it reminds me of deviled eggs a little bit with all the filling inside with, like, sort of like this little round cake piece, I guess, around it. That's a horrible comparison, I'm sure, but let's go and see how it tastes. Yeah, it tastes actually a little salty, but in a good way. These are like salted Sakura leaves. Let me go ahead and read the description here. Make a perfect Sakura party with this Sakura flavored snacks just like this one. The sweet white bean paste filling is flavored with real salted Sakura leaves for a salty sweet flavor. That's like perfect. So this is actually really, really good. I wish there was a lot more of them in there because I am going to devour this one pretty quickly. Now let's see what Sakura has in their box for this month. They have snacks like Sakura cream cookies, castella, mochi, cashew nuts, hibiscus tea, and much, much more. For Sakurako, they sent this amazing box, of course, with these flowers going all across it. Sakurako always knocks it out of the park with their boxes. Absolutely beautiful, kind of reflective gold leaves going on it as well. Before we actually try any of the snacks, though, I do want to take something else out of the box, which is their tableware item that they are providing. It is a glass, and it has these little sakura flowers going through it. Clear cup, awesome for cool drinks. I'm assuming you would want to not put any hot drinks in here just to make sure, but it is a beautiful, beautiful cup. I'm sure you guys will be seeing me drinking out of it on stream soon. Okay, let's go ahead and dig into the snacks. Now, if you're familiar with me at all, I'm a huge fan of mochi, so I do want to try them out. It comes in this amazing bag already here, but let's go ahead and open it up. I feel bad opening it up because it's such a high quality bag. And you get your little mochi pieces here. Let's go ahead and just pull one out and try it. Oh, it's very, very, very soft. Mmm. Yeah, this is Sakura mochi. Let's go ahead and read about it real quick in the book. Savor the delicate flavors of spring with the Sakura mochi, infused with the gentle aroma of sakura leaves for a delightful taste. Each soft rice cake captures the essence of the sakura season, and I can say that's absolutely true. You guys should definitely be trying it. Now, you may be, of course, wondering a little bit more about the booklets they come with. They have these amazing booklets that help explain all the snacks, which helped me a lot, of course. You see me reading them in the videos here. And they have all these amazing pictures and just extra details about what's going on in the boxes every single month. You can join in on contests here and win extra snacks and things like that. It's a perfect companion for these boxes. With that being said, I want to quickly say thanks to everyone for giving me a moment of your time in the middle of this show. Tokyo Treat and Sakurako are great services and could also be an awesome gift for a friend or a family member. Japanese snacks delivered straight to your house from Japan, all while helping support what we do here. Use the code MogTalk link, get $5 off your first box, and it also helps support this channel. You can find them also in the description below. Again, thank you Tokyo Treat and Sakurako for sponsoring us this month, and enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
I'll come back. Yeah.
Man, you know, it's funny, the final Queen's Blood match, the very, very fine, not against the Queen in the Gold Saucer, the Nightmare Survival match.
Oh.
I ended up beating that with the highest score that you could, and I was so glad because I hated that. Nightmare Survival was by far the toughest thing in the fucking game.
So I gotta ask you guys how you did your decks. I'll tell you how I did my deck. Is I started out early of the just kill deck, just base kill lower deck, and never did anything else. I just built a pot at every once in a while. So like this card could kind of help kill things and gain board, like gain as much board as I could, and do damage. And that was all of my strategy through the entire game. And I beat everything.
I had two strats.
Okay.
Number one was buff deck with Dio.
Mm-hmm.
Because him and Chocobo together were just a dominant force. But the idea, gameplay-wise, was to conquest the map, essentially make it so they couldn't place anything else. Because it guarantees a win pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
However, if the enemy used destruction decks, I just swapped to a destruction deck and took all the power-ups too, and then I just also conquested them.
Yeah.
That is
with Nightmare deck, I played what I called a Gold Saucer deck, in that when you win a lane, you get bonus coins. So the idea was just to win lanes with those on them. And that was it. So it's like you get +10 with one and like +5 with another and everything. So, and for Nightmare Survival, I had to win by the 4th round, even though there were 5 rounds. Because on the 5th round, I did not want to play the game anymore, because the 5th round was literally the Shadow Blood Queen fight, except you have no cards left.
I beat Shadow Blood Queen in two tries.
Yeah, it didn't take me long to beat her.
Yeah.
But imagine if you only had 15 cards to play 5 games.
Yeah, it's
and
rough.
The 5th game was Shadow Blood Queen. Yeah.
Dude, holy shit! That took me 4 hours. Yeah, because she was playing her was
she was
the actual
cheating.
first time was the actual first time I felt like I need to play the game. Because like when I get to up to that point, like after defeating Vincent, I literally just do what Happy said. Either I take the whole board or I just build a destroyer deck. That's it. But against her, it's like all those strat doesn't work. And I'm just like, holy shit, I need to, actually learn the game.
Against her, I did play a card that benefited from other cards. I played 2 cards that got buffs every time something got debuffed. It's not as good as hers, but it was like my way of keeping up while I conquested
Midgar
the
Swarmer.
deck, so
Is that who I put down for that?
yeah, that him and Hedgehog, whatever they're called, Hedgehog Pies, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would basically look, and if they had like a token, and I had a token right there, or like if I knew if I put one down, I would have a token they could take easily. Like it was just close to one of their tokens, I wouldn't put anything there. I would just keep building the map until they put something close, so I could overtake theirs and just start pushing forward. And it worked pretty well.
I used replacement cards to undo that. Like I essentially did, but I would play in that spot, and if they played next to it, then I would take it back with a replacement card.
I only played a couple of replacements, so they were pretty good. They definitely helped out a good bit, but
it was a really fun game.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was surprising that like they put that in there. To me, I wasn't expecting a card game out of this. But
now,
I mean,
obviously, Triple Triad is still base, in my opinion. But Queen's Blood's pretty good.
Yeah, it's something different, right? It's something different. I'm pretty sure it could be broken. I'm pretty sure you could break it. I like Triple Triad, but Triple Triads could be broken too, right? Like it just is what it is.
Triple Triad is snoozeville to me after 20 years of breaking.
Yeah, for sure. But like first time experiencing Triple Triad versus Queen's Blood, I do think Triple Triad is. Maybe also I was younger, maybe I'm just more stupid. Dude, let me tell you, until Final Fantasy XIV Triple Triad, I have no fucking idea how to play Plus. Back in my days, when I was doing FF8, I have no idea how to play the Plus rule. I was just like putting in, oh my god, did it work?
Now every once in a while you get a bonus and you're like, oh
yeah. Now after 20 over years, like Happy says, now playing FF14, and it's like, oh wow, Plus is actually easy. So maybe I'm just brain damage back then.
And it's a side game, so how much time do you spend into it when you're so focused on that, baby? It's here they integrated.
Have you played Final Fantasy? It is the main game.
Okay,
it is the main game. You have to play it, dude.
Okay. I did it when I did my 8th playthrough. I tried to do it, but 8 was punishing, right? It was punishing.
That's why
you
play
lost.
Triple Triad.
There was no punishment in Queen's Blood when you lost, and so you just kept trying.
With the save feature, there's never any punishment in any game.
Fair. But I liked how they threw that in there. You had pretty much every mini game that you would ever want: a card mini game, talk about racing, little virtual fighters. You didn't have snowboarding. They teased you, right? They had the big poster for it.
Yeah, they don't want to do that because in the original, it doesn't unlock in the Gold Saucer till after that event anyway. So like you can't play it there until after you play. So I didn't expect it to be there.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how the bike become better compared to remake?
Oh yeah.
The bike is just so much better. It's more responsive. It feels more dynamic. It's actually more fun than what you have to do it in remake. Remake 1 was torture. But this one is really good. Yeah,
well, I mean, like, I barely did anything on the bike at all because I would just win and whatever I needed to do in the first couple of tries with it, right?
Yeah.
So it felt good. They made it better, I guess, because I didn't have to try too hard with it. The only mini game that was, like, really, really hard, I think, was the fighter. The fighter one was tough.
So it's so funny you mentioned that because I realized very early on that it's all fixed. All of their special attacks are fixed in between like one of so you could like, so for example, Yuffie always does overhead right, overhead left, overhead right again, and then mid right. Like it's essentially you could just memorize the exact pattern that it played in. I think once Sephiroth threw me off and threw a left hook when he's never thrown one before in the middle of a combo, but other than that, it was the same.
Did you guys pause the game when you were?
No, I didn't know you could do. Actually, I never thought of that.
That's how I beat the ultimate part. Yeah.
Oh my!
You
That's
pause
smart
it,
though.
You pause it. I was given this tip by Jet from my chat, who's botting. It was watching the whole thing. He's like, you could pause it right as the animation's happening, and if you turn up your, I think your FPS or something, there's more frames for you to actually click on for that too. Like you change the performance or something.
I understand that.
And you press
Yeah,
pause.
performance I played in, yeah.
Yeah, and then you could just kind of react to that because I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it unless if I paused it.
I'll give you this. Shiva was the worst one to try to sight read. I think her punches were the ones that looked the most similar. Her overhead and her mid. I think she was actually the hardest one because I just couldn't read. Like I one shot all the other ones up to Ifrit other than Shiva, and then Sephiroth I just took a few tries to remember to see what the patterns were, and then it was just a memorization game.
Okay.
But that's the big thing when people would do like this, and then the only difference is this or this.
Yeah,
and that's it, and that's what Shiva was like. So that's why she
help
was
you,
man.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't like it because it was hard for me, and I was like, man, I'd rather just go Chocobo Race or something, right? I had fun with the Chocobo Race, but I won all of them.
The Chocobo Racing was too easy.
Yeah,
like that was the only thing.
I was surprised.
FF14 is harder. Yeah.
I was surprised the AI didn't use special skills. That really surprised me.
I think they used it sometimes. I think the middle manager guy uses.
There's no shot. I would have noticed in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yo, watching Arthars get hit by the walls was my favorite part of all of Chocobo Racing.
Dude,
I was in his stream the entire. Bro, you know what I did from the very moment that I what's it called? That I got into choke. I took the jumper as soon as I saw the walls. I jumped over every wall.
Oh, okay.
That was how I got around it. I just refused to do it. I was like, nope, fucking jump over that wall, jump over that wall, jump over that wall.
The walls, those were so difficult to like tie. Like most of the time you could kind of get it, but every once in a while you just don't see it close soon enough, or you can't figure it out. You just hit it.
I was in Arthur's chat the whole time he was doing the walls for Ultimate Party Animal. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
You know, sometimes for me, right? I'm not sure whether you guys have these. Okay. You know when you play Dark Souls, you know exactly that sometimes when you fight this boss, you need to go slow. Sometimes you just tell yourself, okay, it's not like I need to learn this part. I just want an easy pattern so that I can focus on the later part. That's literally what happened to me in the Chocobo Racing. I was just like, okay, you know what? I know how this wall works. I don't want to spend more time to keep thinking about it. I think eventually muscle memory will take over. It never took over.
No, it never did. You hit the first wall and then turned left and the other one closed, and you're like, and then instead of just going forward again, then you'd go right and go back into the wall that closed the first time. And I was like, just go forward.
Let me tell you, that was a stubbornness. I got beaten by stubbornness there. It's just it didn't work. Okay, never mind.
Oh,
those walls, yeah.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, I wasn't expecting like so many side quests to be like, here's a mini game literally just for the side quest. There's nowhere else. But we're gonna throw it in here for you, and it's pretty well thought out. I think for a lot of them, pretty well thought out.
Yeah, you have frog guys. You have the dolphins. Yeah, you have the return of Fort Condor.
Yeah.
And the hard mode of Fort Condor.
Yeah. Way better than Lords of Verminion.
Yeah. I just use what I call the trebuchet effect, where I make a line of trebuchets and aimed directly at the enemy base, and just in 30 seconds it just eliminates it entirely. It was great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they could be broken. A lot of these you end up breaking them, but they were just overall they were really well done, I think.
I did predict that people would complain about them though. When I'm playing through, I'm like, I'm enjoying doing all these. Yeah, I don't blame them either. Yeah, I was like, I'm enjoying these, and it's not a quantity over quality problem. It's people are just not going to be good at every single one, and for everyone they're not good at, the game gets worse.
You get frustrating,
and it's a wall for you if you're just trying to complete the zone, right? From the stuff that you want to do. And so it's just kind of, it irritates you, makes you angry. It's what it is. I think some of these mini games probably should have just been put in the gold saucer and not in the story. That might have made people happy.
They did integrate it nicely to the story. It feels incentivized to do them, but again, not everybody is able to like, pause, do this stuff, that do the reads, memorize. Some people just I want to press button and get by it, so I can understand the frustration. I mean, I myself is frustrated sometimes, but it's just like, okay, for example, the rebate one, I like that. Is it better than Fall Guys? No, it's not. But I just like to do that because I love the interaction between Cloud and Tifa, for example. I do it because it's just like, I like to watch it.
Yeah.
But then, for people that just like, dude, I'm not even gonna be good at this part. I don't even care. Like the flying one, I will care less.
Oh, yeah.
In
the very last one, yeah, the very last like angle you have to get, yeah, that one, I was pretty aggravated at that.
You guys
but once
know
I
you can
got
turn
it,
around in those, right? And go back and get the rings?
yeah, but it's not really great for it. Like the only one that was hard to actually get was there's like two that are right on top of each other, like an ice cream sandwich at the end. And you have to like perfectly like skirt under and barely hit the thing and then do that.
Were you guys good at the piano?
So I am a rhythm game player.
Okay.
I did professional DDR when I was a kid. I competed. I have a DDR pad right there, a metal one. Whoever made the piano game should be fired.
Okay. I didn't think it was that bad.
So the UI for it's terrible in the first place. The fact that they're trying to use both analog sticks, but it's on like the left side of the screen, the color changes. And as someone who's colorblind, the default the default color for the background when it doesn't change the pitch is a terrible color to have. This like, I don't know if it's yellow or green, this like little yellow or green line. They could have just taken that whole UI, blown it up to full size. Actually, I think Genshin has a mini game exactly like that from one of their events, and they blow it up to full screen. Their big problem is the two parts are too far apart. You need to push them closer together for visual clarity and make sure the background and the actual note color are distinguishably different. Rhythm game players, we like to speed up, which they do allow you to do. And we like to be able to change the visuals around us to be less distracting. They didn't really do either of those things.
I'm going to let you know, in that vein, the hardest one for me to do was the third one. I think it was the third one where you're on the beach, and that's the exact time that you're getting the outfit for Tifa. And Tifa's first time playing the piano, I think, is during that too. They did fan service very well in this game. Very well. Like, they knew exactly what they were doing, and anyone who wanted that type of fan service in this game got it. And then that third piano one, Arthars, I would love to know your thoughts on this.
As in, like, you want to know which part of this discussion? I mean, like the difficulty or
no? Well, I mean, you could talk about the piano difficulty if you want to, but
I mean, the difficulty. Yeah. Okay, I'm never a rhythm game. I suck at it. So I'm glad that luckily none of the achievement needed stars or multiple stars. So I just got A on them. I'm just like, fine. For the Tifa one, when I was playing, I was like, man, if I fuck it up, what happened? No, that one is the one in her room. Never mind. Different one. I was just like, wait, I only got one take. Shit. But luckily, it didn't really affect anything. But if you're talking about Costa del Sol, I mean, yeah.
I think the thing is, what he's actually talking about is if you play the piano in her outfit, her physics are very aggressive, despite the fact that she's just playing the piano.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
they do a lot of cuts that are very obvious to distract you during that too.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I don't really remember.
You don't remember that? Did you not do the piano when you were at the beach?
No, he probably did the piano before changing the outfit.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I don't remember.
Okay.
The sit-up mini game you can also do in an alternate outfit for similar reasons.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional for me at all, right? I was just doing this, and then, of course, chat gets to vote on whatever's going on, right? You got to be an interactive streamer and give them the will every once in a while. And of course, what they're going to choose is the.
We're trying to give you the will. It sounds like.
Look, it was hard. It was very hard to do.
Oh,
that.
it was? Really? Tell me more.
I get the
okay,
joke
I
and
need
the
to go and
pun
check
and the
it out.
meme and everything. I get it. I get it. But
I
that,
need to go check it out.
yeah, go check it out, Arthars. But I mean, as a Tifa fan, Arthars, you know, I'm not being like wrong about this, right? They definitely did a lot of fan service in this game.
I mean,
Cloud stares directly at her tits, and
Yeah.
it's just like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
like this is the part that people don't understand. This is like a different conversation. I don't know why nowadays social media are so angsty just because something is sexualized a little bit. Is there anything wrong with that? I don't think there's anything. For people who feel comfortable at that are the people that got problem. I think this is perfectly natural. This is human being. Human being, it's just human nature. Like what is wrong with that? I mean, Tifa's big, sure, we all know that. Does it surprise you that they do that? No. Every other game do that. If you don't do that, then it becomes weird. Like sometimes when you intentionally avoid the unavoidable, or you try to avoid things that shouldn't be avoided, then it becomes weird. Because then it creates this thing like, why are you trying to avoid it? What are you worried about? Oh, you worry about it actually makes you insecure. I think some people don't realize that. Like I'm pretty sure Cloud also didn't mind. Obviously, everybody didn't mind, right? It's just
Cloud
it's just...
definitely stopped being Zack and started being Cloud again for a brief moment.
Yeah, it's yeah. They did Tifa justice 100%. I think nobody can deny like Tifa was perfect. Ever since remake, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every character is
a big
perfect.
thing.
Yeah.
It was weird to me about like the whole initial discourse for that, going back to remake, and I was like, it makes complete sense for a fighter to be essentially she's in a sports bra and like sports shorts while she's fighting. Completely logical, reasonable thing, even if you've only played the original, because that's how she's literally trained by like a world-renowned professional who would like enforce like proper wear and stuff like that. But she's in what is essentially constricting gear. So when she is in the dress in remake, you can clearly, like, I don't know how anyone who even, first of all, the fact that they were even thinking that was ridiculous. Like that was even their biggest concern.
Right.
But then when you see her in her dresses and she's not in her fighting gear in remake, you know that they didn't really change much of anything at all. And then it's kind of just reminded again here with the scene, because if you don't even have to try to look at them. It's just like Cloud does it for you.
Right.
So you'll be like, oh yeah, that's different. The camera literally goes like this, goes like,
yeah. I mean, it's
fine.
Literally part of the game.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's distracted.
Yeah. And so I think they did all that stuff very well. They didn't like overdo it, but it was there for the people.
No, they didn't overdo it. It was perfect.
Yeah. And so I feel like the game did bring that back for everybody who, back in when they played the old game. I mean, that was a thing too, even though it was a completely different setup. I did like when you did the Fort Condor stuff and they went into the HD pixelization.
That was good.
It was perfect. I kind of wish they would let you do that as like an effect on the main characters as you're playing through the main characters, just for the fun of it. And I was almost, when they gave Cloud the Moogle outfit in the Moogle side quest, when you beat it, everything, I was like,
that's not an outfit.
Well, I mean, when they transform him into a Moogle, I was like, why? It'd be really cool if they just let me be the Moogle for a little while, all right? Be a Mog. And just kind of go through some of the story, but I guess it would kill some of the scenes.
That's killing some of the scenes. I mean, so in New Game Plus, you can be in the outfit anywhere. Like they add changing stations in New Game Plus everywhere.
Right. But not the Moogle, right?
No, but the point is you can fight Genova in a swimsuit. So it's like at that point, it's pretty much done.
True. I mean, then you experience it. Yeah, I guess at New Game Plus, then you could all that stuff.
Yeah.
How did you guys like the Moogles?
I didn't care. It was whatever. I had no issue with it. Took me 2 minutes.
I think the teeth threw me off a little bit.
Oh, you mean the appearance? Oh, I didn't care. I wasn't.
Yeah. I thought we were talking about appearance exactly. Yeah,
appearance.
I didn't mind the appearance, because for me, seeing different Moogle is not new. you know what triggers me is that people will be like, oh my god, look at this model, it's the same as other Final Fantasy. Okay, so now they do the Moogle different. Okay, maybe you think it's uglier, so now they do what you want. You don't want it to be there. Oh my god, now the Moogle doesn't look like a Moogle. Sometimes I don't fucking know what people want. They make something look similar, you don't like it, they change it different, pure contrast now, more uglier, but it's different, and then you guys also complain. What the fuck do you guys want? It's a Final Fantasy game. You know,
And then
I
you get the
didn't mind
people who
appearance.
swear by the Evilise ones.
Mm.
The Evilise Moogles too. They're like, those are the best Moogles. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy fandom.
It's really all fandoms, but yeah, I mean, this is just the one that we found ourselves in.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, actually, yeah. Every game is the same. Same. FF14,
Bro,
Warcraft, same thing.
I dare you to play Undertale and put up with the Undertale
no.
fandom on stream. I dare you.
No, I'm not going down that road. But I did play Undertale, and I was happy with what I played through. But I don't think I would go into that whole discussion with anyone to try to go too deep into it. And there's Undertale shipping. That's a really big deal too. I'm just like, I can't get into it. Just can't do it. Anyways, back to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the different...
Story?
Well, the story, I mean, like, and just like every aspect that they did in this game was perfect to me. I mean,
okay, well, you say perfect, but there's a point of contention that I've seen.
Okay.
Regarding another character and the way they're portrayed in this game, and that's Sid.
Sid, I was fine with Sid. Okay, I know a lot of people were. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Well, no, why not? I mean, I was just gonna reinforce that because he's not an asshole.
Faded. Right, of Sid, right? I remember him with a big rocket, right? That's what I remember. I remember a big rocket in Sid, and he's the airship guy. I remember being really grumpy and angry, right? And that is what I remember. And so when going into this one, he's not as bad. He's a little bit more like bored, but he's still an old man. Just a little bit more spirited, I guess. You guys got different thoughts. Go ahead.
I mean, he literally just calls his wife a bitch and degrades her nonstop in the original. Okay. Yeah, in the original, he's like, "Shut up, bitch."
Yeah. Like, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, he's cursing, swearing, all the symbols and stuff. He is really.
Yeah. To be fair, there's a lot of that. I mean, they throw around the R word a bunch in the original as well.
Yeah.
Barrett throws quite a few of them, some really bad ones around. Yeah. So I don't. So for me, I felt like as soon as I saw Barrett being who he was, and I was like, okay, this is Barrett without having to throw a cuss word every like 2 sentences in. So Sid will probably be similar. My big thing is that because they wanted to bring Sid in earlier, he has no reason to really be an asshole to us yet, because I think he's only really an asshole around his wife. Like, I think he's going to be an asshole when we get to Rocket Town, but I think they're going to save I think they're going to combine both Rocket Town plots into one, essentially, where we're going to go there and learn about the rocket, but it's going to be as Shinra is also trying to use it as a missile, essentially, to deliver the big materia to Meteor itself. But I think that's where we'll see him be an asshole more than anything, is when he's actually around Shira.
I mean, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, they're clearly saving Wu Tai, they're saving Sid, and obviously Vincent for the last one, which is fine, but there's just too much going on in Rebirth. So it's like, at least in like party selection, composition, and obviously combat, I'm okay with Sid, at least just, being in the background. I mean, Vincent is actually, dude, they do Vincent so well in Rebirth, just the way that he did almost nothing. Because remember, a lot of people always ask, right, what happened in the OG where Vincent is completely optional. There's nothing you really need to know about him. Even if you don't get him at all, nothing changes. So in Rebirth, what are they going to do it? Like, are they going to let us, let him be optional or not, him playable or not? It will be too different. So I thought they make him perfect, like just transparent, just there. Wait, what?
He wasn't optional in Advent Children, so I assumed that he's just not optional.
He was the best character in Advent Children. Yeah. People don't remember Vincent being goated in Advent Children.
Yeah, he was the most like spiritually there for everyone that like actually play a part. Yeah, But yeah, in Rebirth, they make him invisible, and I thought was brilliant. How do you portray a character that in OG was completely optional, introduce him in Rebirth and make him like not relevant yet? I thought just very low key, very well done. And at the same time, I think part 3, we will probably see hosting everything, because honestly, story wise, there isn't really much left already. So maybe they are gonna save it up and
so it's funny you mentioned that, because so when I played 7 again recently, every time people ask me what I feel about 7, I go, oh, I don't know. It's just not really one of my favorites. And like a lot of times I was like, I don't really know why. It just like, maybe it's just because it's a PlayStation 1 game and there's like a little bit of technical debt. And it's like, but when I replayed it recently, as soon as I finished disc 1, my interest tanked really hard because I realized, all right, more so I remembered that the PlayStation 1, it might have had a lot of great stuff, but it's also notorious for cuts. Lots of cut content, lots of cut dialogue, lots of cut budget. Vincent and Yuffie are optional because of content cuts more than anything else. And you really feel that in disc 2 and onward in the original. You really feel like a lot is stripped away. Like there's the really awkward bit of the going immediately into the snowboarding section after dealing with Aerith, and then Cloud goes crazy, and then honestly it's just a bunch of shenanigans with the weapons. Like I don't know, it needed, that part to me always needed more justice done than the first disc, because the first disc I still think is really well done, and that makes sense because that's like every PlayStation game, every PlayStation 1 game, first disc incredible, and it's just like worse after disc 1, like across every PlayStation 1 game. So I'm very much looking forward to having that, but Vincent's going to be one of the big ones because he's well, he kind of loved Sephiroth's mom, so it's they also don't know that I think he's 70. No, I'm trying to remember. I think he's 33 when well, he's 33 when he gets locked away, but I think it's 22. I think he's in his 50s. I can't remember the exact numbers.
Hold on.
Well, keep it. Yeah, because you just have to add his actual age to the time that he's locked away. And that's how old he actually is.
In this game,
57
he's 27.
plus by Dirge. So he's 27. So yeah. So by Dirge, he's in his 50s. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's been around a while. Yeah, because you just have to add Sephiroth's age to his age plus 5 years. That's what it is. And you get his actual age. So they don't know he's that old. In fact, they tease it there a bit. Like, how do you know that name? And he's like, I've been around a while. It's like, yeah, sure has been. Dude's got an immortal body.
Yeah. But I mean, so you guys are saying, I can't remember, overall, the Final Fantasy original story, there isn't much more to go in the story in general in the original.
Not much. I mean, it's OG. At this
point, in the OG, it's
much.
really just weapon. It's just weapon stuff. Like they get to North Crater, Cloud goes crazy. The weapons are unleashed in the world. You have the Tifa and Scarlet slap fight, which everyone's probably waiting for big time. And then you have Midgar firing the cannon and the Hojo boss fight, and then it just kind of finishes at that point. Like there's other bits,
This time there will be a lot more.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the wheelchair bit is that people are waiting for.
Dude, the wheelchair, I thought it was really nice that they show Tifa being there first, so this time in Rebirth, so it's like foreshadowing.
Yeah,
we are gonna go back. We're gonna go back, and Tifa is gonna know what to do that time, because if for me in the OG it was very weird that Tifa somehow get it all together very naturally. So this time in like the Rebirth, it's like Tifa is there, she didn't know what's going on, but now she sees it. Now we're gonna go back. Cloud is going to be the one disoriented. Tifa is going to be the one that rescued. And for me, that was when Tifa became waifu. That was that scene that I swapped side. At the last 27 years, I just realized. And because I'm a loyal guy, so when I changed my waifu to Tifa, I started creating this hate for Eri, And then it's like, man, I must stay true to my Tifa waifu, right? But man, when I saw her die again, I couldn't, man. I just lost it again, like, man. Fuck. I really thought they changed it, when Cloud. Okay, you see, now. This one is the important part. How do you guys feel about that? What is you guys' take on that scene?
On which
what
one?
actually happened? You
Her,
think?
her in the live stream with the weapon.
Oh.
No. When Cloud blocked that
Oh
kiss
yeah.
from Sephiroth, what do you guys think about that?
You mean like with
Zeno
Aerith
was
at the
confused.
end
For
where he's
example,
blocking that hit?
Yeah, for
It
example,
was just
Zeno
another
was confused.
dimension, right? It was just another timeline. It was starting to tell you all the different split timelines and everything else. And so like they showed that, give you a fake sense of security. All right, that was the first thing, and then they show you all the different other things, kind of like just going back and forth really quick. And so what our belief and understanding is that we're leading in, again, if you go to the sequel theory, right, is that we're replaying through this timeline where Sephiroth is fucking with the timeline. Sephiroth is getting in there and fucking with fate, right? And so we get into that point where there's a timeline where Aerith doesn't die. There's a timeline where she does die. And at some point, what maybe Sephiroth will try to do is try to create some reunion of timelines, right? And we'll have Final Fantasy VII reunion. I don't know. That's the base theory of my understanding of it. And so she's dead in this game for sure, but she's going to be part of Zack's timeline that he's experiencing, and she's going to wake up there.
Timeline is not a word I like.
Dimension.
For what this. No, so it's explained in game as essentially the planet coalescing memories into alternate outcomes, but they're not really timelines so much as they're just potential outcomes to decisions that didn't happen.
Okay.
So it's literally all just like the people on the planet make a decision and the planet itself goes, what if something different happened? But it's not like more planets so much as it's stuff that's inside of the planet itself. But we have the main timeline, and all this other stuff just kind of exists in the planet itself. It's more like the live stream's curious than anything else.
Do you think we're going into like just the memories or the thoughts of the live stream?
I think it's giving a lot of context to stuff that we see, especially again. I'm going to go back to Advent Children, not to tie them together, saying this is a sequel to it, but they basically present the idea there when Zack is talking to Cloud when he's kind of on the brink of death. Cloud kind of reaches, like Zack kind of speaks to him and preps him back up. I think they're setting that to kind of be something that makes sense in the universe and not just like some random anime moment that happened in Advent Children.
Okay.
Because that's what it is. There's no really good explanation for why that happens to Cloud other than he's crazy and like he thought he was Zack for so long. But so Zack can just give him a pep talk from like the other side and is completely aware that he's dead and gone and all this. No, they're trying to make it so that the live stream is not just, again, a plot device, and it's actually more like a living, breathing thing. Like they keep saying the planet's alive. So what does a planet have? A brain.
Oh, okay. I think it was like when they were doing those final scenes where you're just like fighting with Zack, you're fighting with Aerith, and you're fighting with all this stuff. It felt pretty good and epic overall. And they did so many of these little fake outs with Zack. Like, oh, well, time to die again. Time to go back to Crisis Core PTSD, right? And so you're just going through all this stuff with him over and over and over. Then they pull him back. It's like, all right, see you later. And you're like, okay. Well, I'll see you in the next game.
It's a very typical like time plot, right? It's like Final Destination, right? If you watch the movie, it's like you can avoid it once, you cannot avoid it forever. The same outcome will happen to you, just a different. Like how Biggs have to die, you gotta die. Do you see? That's the part I was surprised. Like in the trailer, it shows that wow, Biggs is alive. But end of the day, it's just Biggs was just there the entire time to show you that you just can't escape. Same for Aerith at the church. You just can't escape.
Well, I mean,
but Zack is trying to, you know, like, will he succeed? I guess we'll find out. But it's just very nice to see that. And also they don't go like, not all timeline will eventually play through all events. No, some timeline, it just ends here. Like, you know, the one that Cloud and Aerith went where they did, that one is just ending right there and there already. There's no getting out of Midgard. Right there, it's ending already. So it's like, although they have all these so-called branches, all these like possibility, but at the end of the day, the main one is still the only one matters. You know, but I'm still curious. What do you think? Wait, maybe Happy already explained. Like him deflecting it. Do you think that there's like what, or do you think it's just like maybe a flicker, a glitch, or is it really like another timeline that is an Aerith that somehow got saved by Cloud. You know?
I think he had a mental break. I think his mental full on broke in that moment. I don't think it's. I think some of it is the dimensional fuckery that they're having, where she's like, he's basically so they set up basically the entire game that whenever he's asleep, he sees into that memory world, so he's a little bit closer connected to it, and I think that's probably because of Zach. But it's more so, I think a lot of that is just being used to basically, instead of him going crazy all at once, he's literally already kind of mentally broken and hasn't even begun to process it yet. He's just full on crazy. Yeah, he's full on crazy town at this point.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. I don't think that it's like, you know, because this part confuses a lot of people. A lot of people really think that there's another timeline. She's alive. Oh, will we? You see, another thing about this.
She's fully accepted she's dead. Like she's basically she's without saying I'm dead. But he kind of knows it when he's talking to her too, because he knows she can't leave. He knows why she can't leave. He's like, but he also hasn't in any way processed the grief. And like I think it's very deliberate. They left out the sinking of the body because he is completely unaware of, like, he's literally gone beyond the point where he can't even accept it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. So I think that is just him copying. And okay, now that I want to talk about that later, since you touched on it. Do you think the sinking and the actual stabbing will be shown in part 3?
I mean, sinking doesn't mean dead. To be honest with you, Tifa sunk and she went into the weapon and swam around, came back up. Who knows?
No. I mean, like when they put her down into the water.
Yeah.
When
in the original, where he literally,
they will probably show
actual step, like the actual step, not just the cut off, the actual stabbing.
I think part of him I think part of him dealing with his grief in the live stream when he realizes who he is going to be part of it.
Yeah, the stabbing plus the letting her go, that has to be the live stream deal. That is gonna hit extra hard again, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, we didn't even see. We get an imply of it, and it's already like so heartbreaking. Part 3, seeing that where he's fight, like, I mean, Tifa is there. Basically, like Happy said, that scene is there. It's just that because from Cloud POV, we don't see it. But where everybody's grieving, everybody's sitting at the riverside, that is the part where they put her down. Cloud put her down.
That's the
I think we will see it.
I mean, like, it's really interesting. Like, during a lot of stuff that's going on, you have that little part where Aerith and Cloud are just walking around the town and going to vendors and buying stuff. And they're like, oh, the world's going to end. Whatever, get one for free stuff. And they make you make a choice, but it never matters. They're trying to just constantly set you up for that. Like, you can choose whatever the fuck you want, but and get what I was gonna give you, right? It doesn't matter.
It's so like you think about it. We have to go through this for 2. I mean, I don't know when's the next one. At least
4
3 years, right?
At least 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, like holy fuck, Cloud is gone. Like, it's really.
I actually
really
think he's
sad.
more Cloud now that he's mentally broken than he is Zach. Ironically enough, because the big thing is that he's a mental case. Like Cloud. He is a mental case. He's awkward. He's unaccepting. He's unwilling. He just kind of perseveres, and that's kind of always been his thing. Like, even when he's trying to be in Soldier, like he said when he left, that all happened. He doesn't really remember it correctly, but it all happened. He just doesn't do it right. So I don't know. I think more of his personality comes out when he's actually talking to force Aerith.
There is one part of that for some reason I think I just don't remember it well. Is when Zach apparently went into the river, right? I don't remember the river thing happening in the OG, like when he was remembering Nibelheim and how all that played out.
Oh no.
And so, like, I know they were like, you're being Zach, but really Cloud was the soldier or whatever, and going down the river. I don't remember a lot of that happening.
No, they hit you with it all at once in the original. Like, they throw the blips where it goes like like that happens a bunch before you actually get the truth reveal at the end. But no, they don't allude to it at all. And a part of that, again, that's what I talked about earlier, where Tifa actually doesn't just wait till a random moment later on to be like, yeah, I knew that the whole time.
Yeah.
Although she still is technically doing that, because when he tells her, I remember it all, she knows he's still technically like not remembering it correctly because she's like, but he wasn't there. He's still not remembering it right. And funny thing about that scene in the Nibelheim part at the intro / demo, if you talk to the soldier who's supposed to be Cloud, he has Zack's voice.
Yeah.
And he said, he actually says a line that Zack has. Yeah, he says the same line Zack does. Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it, man. I need that wheelchair scene so bad.
Okay.
That is the reveal. Right there is the grand reveal.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
Man, I again, like, this game has so many wins just overall in general with it, and I it's hard to stop thinking about it too, about the different things, and it allows this post conversation, which we again have seen some negativity out of, but it opens up this whole thing to talk about. But you're in this prison of only being able to talk to other people who have done it, right? And so it's like a good thing.
How long is the PC? How long is the PC version coming?
Nobody knows.
This one is not a year, right?
Nobody has any idea. All we know is the exclusivity period is only until May, but that has no indication of
6 months, right?
No, not even 3 months.
Oh,
it's only a 3-month exclusivity, but that doesn't mean it'll release. Like 16 hasn't been PS5 exclusive since December. It'll also probably go to Epic first, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, all right. We've been doing this for like 2 hours.
Not enough time. I don't think we talk about.
It's never going to be enough time.
Yeah.
I don't.
There's not enough. Yeah, you can't finish this discussion in 2 hours.
Yeah,
it's not possible. If you actually want to do it justice, you can't do it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
So same for remake, right? I just think they end this part with more question than answer. Just like, earlier I was saying how Zack is alive. What's gonna happen? Oh shit, nothing really happened. Now, oh fuck, this is gonna happen. What is gonna happen? I think we just have to wait 4 years, man. And 4 years, we just have to settle with a lot of copium, a lot of people misinterpreting. It is what it is, but God damn it, what a game.
The big thing in 4 years that has to be wondered about, because while we talked about the things we know are gonna happen, there's an elephant in the room, and his name is Glenn. Because
Dude, I thank you for bringing. Okay, you see, let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, for those who aren't aware, there is a mobile game, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, in which it features the game from First Soldier, which was the Battle Royale that got shut down. Now, the Battle Royale didn't have a story, but this has a story regarding it. And it basically talks about events from an old island called Rodore. And it's an island we've never really discussed in past 7 lore, but it's an event that took place a long time ago. All we know for certain is that while they're there, they meet young Sephiroth, they become friends with him, and somewhere along the line, Glenn's gonna get shot by Rufus.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all we know for certain. I think at this point, he doesn't actually matter. I'm not gonna lie. I think in 7's story, while the whole Wutai thing will matter, because obviously now we still have to go to Wutai because it's not going to be optional. But he's going to be a major part. Him, Matt, and Lucia, all of them, who we also get hinted at in a side quest, Matt and Lucia, in the proto relics in Cosmo Canyon. They hint at Matt and Lucia when they're talking about 2 ex-soldiers that like help them out in some capacity. Yeah, with all that. And so I don't think they're going to do much with who Glenn is. I think he is kind of just going to fill in a space to help them move that part of that narrative along. But then there's still also Deep Ground, which I don't think can be resolved. It's not Deep Ground is supposed to be resolved 3 years after the end of 7 is when Dirge of Cerberus happens. I think Advent Children is 2 years and Dirge of Cerberus is 3 years. And so, yeah, those 2 elements are the ones I'm very confused about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
see, when you talk about, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the theory that came up in chat when I was playing through it, it's just the quick, oh, Glenn is Cloud's dad, right? And that was
that's been really common.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, at the beginning, since the very first trailer when we saw that rope guy at Junon, people are already like thinking, is that Glenn? But it's like, nah. So the moment it came out the first time, my mind was just blown, like, holy shit, they're gonna bring him in. That you're telling me the Ever Crisis story is actually relevant, but we don't get a lot. We didn't get a lot yet. We all knew that. We only know that they become, okay, obviously the start of Ever Crisis is Glenn confronted Sephiroth. right? So, and then after that, it cuts to the beginning, how they get to know one another. So it's like something happened, like Happy says, they know him, they are close with him, if essentially become friends, and then at some point get shot by Rufus, and then somehow at some point he confronted Sephiroth. That's the only thing we know. And then in this rebirth, we get some idea of, they are the resistance, they do something different, they got fucked, they got betrayed or whatever. We still don't know, right? But then at the end, when they were having a meeting in the room, it is shown that Glenn is just a number. So now I am confused. They also, although they talk about Matt and Lucia, but they never really showed those two yet. So now I'm actually wondering, right? So are we going to actually see Glenn do something as Glenn? Or is Glenn just now a number and Sephiroth is using him because he was the one thing that Rufus feared? That's why he was being represented instead of, for Cloud. Every time Cloud see a rope, it's Sephiroth, right? And then for Rufus, every time he sees a rope, instead of seeing Sephiroth, it's Glenn. So it's like, is Glenn actually going to play a part? Or is Glenn just the one that is used to, like, holy fuck, man, Rufus is...
Yeah, no,
it's...
I think it is more so that he's just... I mean, what you said, he's the equivalent of what Sephiroth is to Cloud. But the big question is why Rufus was even in that situation with him in the first place. Like, because why did he shoot him in the back? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder why Rufus can even fight the way that he can in the first place. That's ultra sus to me to begin with. Like, I don't get me wrong. I know the Turks exist, and like there's plenty of skilled fighters that, including in your own party, that are not that. But it's almost strange to me that Rufus is capable of what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Dude, Elena is so well done.
Elena's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think there's like one part where you could like go talk to Elena at the bar, like when you're in Junon, right? It's just like it feels so you feel bad for Elena.
Yeah,
she's just
Elena
depressed.
Yeah. So all the characters, I mean, I still feel bad for Reno because of what happened, IRL. But hopefully, everything can come back together. Oh, but also seeing Seng fighting, dude, that was so cool. Seng and Elena together, that was so cool.
Is Reno just the only one who's a bitch who actually uses a weapon? Everyone else just punches. Why is he using these? Why is he using sticks?
I don't know, man. When they did the scene, and I know Zeno got a ton out of this, right?
Oh my god,
like
that was
the little club under the ground, and everybody's like the bald club, and they just like it just caught me off guard. Like they did a lot of those just like really funny scenes that just freaking came out of nowhere, and I was like, I don't know. Usually I would like be turned off by that kind of stuff, but this is like perfect. It fits so well in there. It's like just sharp humor out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, and this is the biggest credit I'm gonna give the developers. How time has changed, how social opinion, public court of opinion is now like more important than anything, and they just like, okay, you know what? Like I think a lot of game companies stopped doing that. Okay, we used to do this before. This was our philosophy. Times change, we change, but some things cannot change. And I think for remake, this entire, so far, these 2 part out of 3, is that they stick to their guns. Like, for example, the female Cloud dress. For example, Tifa boobs. For example, what is it gonna like? The way they talk, Barrett. Now, again, surprisingly, Sid hasn't get there yet. But a lot of things, they stick to it, So, I mean, I think they toned down a lot, but they are not afraid to like, because that's what makes Final Fantasy. If they don't do it, it will be weird. Like I said earlier, right? Some of these things, some people think it's weird, some people are uncomfortable, but if they don't do it, then it becomes weird. And now they do it in this game, and I think majority of us will feel that it's such well done, such well handled. Well, the humor is right, it's not overboard, you don't feel uncomfortable. Yeah, brilliant.
The thing is, I mean, this just get on my ass for philosophy's sake, right? When they're making content, when you're making art and you're doing all this stuff, there's a lot of stuff that's like socially understood and accepted at that time, and things that you do, and it's like, this is the effect that I want to have, and this does that effect, right? It's not because of anything like else out of that. You just like, this will accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, and then times change and things are understood better. We're just better overall. And we're like, how do we get that same effect, but doing it better? Like how it should be done right now in the understanding of how society is and social interaction are and everything else. And they did a pretty good job with it. I mean, and they understood how they were doing it and how they would want their characters to be seen and perceived and not be attached to the negative connotations of the words as they are understood now. So I think it's a hard thing to do because you're always going to get the people who are like, don't be, so safe with all this stuff. But that's not the point. You're trying to achieve a certain effect, and you want it to be the correct effect. And you have to understand what the social condition is and how everything is right now with the world properly. Right? Wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Favorite
So-
zone?
Huh?
Favorite zone?
Favorite zone? All right, can I tell you what my
Favorite
least
zone,
favorite
most hated
zone
zone.
was? Gongaga was my least favorite zone. I
Agreed.
liked
Yeah.
it, but the mushroom jumping irritated me to hell. And I think that was purposeful to make it like difficult to traverse through a jungle kind of situation. But like they definitely, the music was great, but I definitely was not a fan of trying to get places there. But favorite zone.
You know what
Go ahead, you go
Gongaga
ahead.
makes me feel like?
Huh.
You know what Gongaga makes me feel like, Happy? Final Fantasy 11. They will choose the
Knew why you were
longest,
saying me. Yeah.
most inconvenient route, and that was Gongaga.
Yeah, I have to believe the inconvenience was intentional. All right,
Yes,
I
it
have
was
to believe that
yeah.
was intentional and to make you feel frustrated.
Oh, I was so frustrated.
But I'd rather
Holy
say that
shit.
than what my favorite zone was. I'll let you guys give your opinion on the favorite.
Oh, Cosmo Canyon.
Cosmo Canyon?
Holy shit, well done. Really.
I
mean,
want to
it's
say
Beautiful.
Go ahead.
I want to say Nibelheim because I like the chocobo there the most.
The jet stream.
Yeah. It was the
That was so
Neighborheim is a
funny.
very nice victory lap.
Yeah.
After you survive Gongaga and then a little bit of inconvenience, but otherwise a pleasant, good experience in Cosmo Canyon. Neighborheim is just like good.
Yeah, you just hold down the jet stream the entire time. Doesn't matter if you're over land, water,
No,
whatever.
you go for the high tier attack where you dive and go back up constantly because it's faster. You go like this. There's
Right.
actually a lot of really weird speed tech like that. Like Cloud can animation cancel after his dodge by changing
Oh.
stance, and it lets you dodge again immediately. So you can,
yeah.
it's actually faster than running in battle. So you just literally dodge, change, dodge, change, dodge, change. It just looks
Mhm.
ridiculous.
There's a couple things that were unpolished that you could do some of it. That could have been intentional too. Like, I mean, it's just tech. But like Nibelheim probably was one of my favorite for sure. I would kind of agree with that too. Cosmo Canyon I like. There's a couple of moments where I was just like, I kind of don't like traveling here, but the flying did make things a little easier sometimes, but it made some things harder.
The
but-
music though, that Cosmo Canyon music is so good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Zone wise, so yeah. And they started out really well, giving you just kind of the base zone with the first zone, and then you have kind of get used to traveling in general, and then just shook it up each time with something. I was pretty happy with the question on. Oh, okay. What else has been on your mind that you've been wanting to talk about that we haven't hit here today?
Well, it's nothing too spoiler related, but I'm the only person who's done hard mode here, so I guess.
Yeah.
I'm saving.
Actually, wait. There
yeah, go
was
ahead.
something that I didn't get to talk about earlier. I mentioned earlier how I think the character exposition is shown no better than the date scenes. Yuffie has the best date scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
I'll go as far as to say I think hers is the best. Hers is the one they also could have screwed up the most. But
Mm.
they did a very, very good job with Yuffie's above all else because it did something that I've been waiting for them to do all game, and they never did it. And then I saw that and I was like, amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care if you
You see,
spoil it for me, to be
like-
honest with you. It doesn't really matter
Yeah.
to me.
Well, the big thing is the big thing is that it acknowledges Crisis Core. is the biggest thing.
Okay.
But it's also just a really good dynamic between who Yuffie is as a character and who Cloud is as a character. And it's peak. It's peak fiction.
Okay.
I'd recommend just going
like,
to YouTube right after this to find.
I was like with I was like with Frosty, right? After I finish everything, have to process everything, and then after that, looking at all the trophy, I'm like, wow, the only thing I'm left is just simulator and hard mode. I don't want to just like do the hard mode just to get the trophy yet. I'm kind of like, let me digest this. Give me like a month, give me like a year. And when
If
I
you
finally
haven't finished all Johnny's stuff too, don't forget.
Oh, I don't want to do all Johnny's stuff.
So these are the three main things. So I'm just like, okay, I guess I can, digest it, sit on it, relax. When more people play, when maybe, in the future we have more discussion, we can go back, actually play, and everybody can talk about. So kind of like saving it. Because one thing about remake is that I have to go through it because we have to get the dress. And then there's also the resolution scene. But this time they did much better where you can go to option, extra settings, and then you can just watch the date scene. So it kind of never felt like more pressure, never felt pressure to have to do hard mode this time. So I'm like, okay. So I guess I can wait. But I did finish all the quests, the story, the lore. So it's like, yeah. So, the Cisne as well. They finally did the Cisne part. Yeah. It was short, but it was done right.
Yeah, I mean it's Cisne.
Why am I blanking?
She's in Gungaga. She's the leader of the town.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she gets a little side quest as well for the proto relics.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I need to go back and finish up the Crisis Core remake that they did. Right. I haven't, but I feel like a lot of that is relevant. And then I think.
Last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just now I forgot to ask Happy about the Glenn part. Okay, first thing first, right? Do you guys? Okay, wait. The one I will put the second part. So when Sephiroth said they will do this and this as father and son, what does that mean? Number one, and then number two, do you guys think that Glenn is really close then?
Oh, I mean, it's
I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to throw into the game. The same hair. Say I do. Get the same hair color, and you're fine. You've done it. That's the same way you figured out the Regina and the Shadow Blood Queen had such a connection there. Hair does a lot.
So it's just not just the hair, though. Okay. First thing first, what does the father and son mean?
I'm pretty sure there's a story between Cloud's mom and Clint that they could throw in there and just do it. It could mean that he has some sort of extra maybe resistance to the degeneration of being a soldier or something like that. It could mean a lot of different things, right? So
he's special. To be fair, Sephiroth could say that about any of the numbers, basically.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
Happy, please. Thoughts?
I just did. That was my thoughts.
Okay.
It was. I'm not gonna. I think the most reckless thing would be to rule anything out because you're literally anyone saying anything is right is not right.
Not. Yeah.
So there's no right. There's just beliefs and thoughts of what.
Definitely. This one has to be the Wu-Tai story, right? It has to be, right?
I'm sure it's evolved. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he was just talking about Rufus's father started the journey, and now Rufus is the son. A father's dream accomplished by his son.
I see. Yeah.
There you go.
Fuck, man, I can't wait. God damn it.
I see. I didn't catch this the first time because I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. I caught some of it. I was like, a little sus. When Glenn and Rufus was having a conversation about the guy not showing up for the video. And how apparently Rufus is the big bad guy, the leader of the resistance or whatever.
Yeah, literally saw Rufus.
Yeah. But it's just
a Wu-Tai story. Yeah. It's a Wu-Tai story.
Yeah. And so all the Wu-Tai stuff is going to come in pretty hard. I'm pretty sure they're doing at least one DLC for this game, right?
Oh, really?
No,
I thought they said they won.
No?
Yeah, they very specifically said the only reason they did the Yuffie one was because they wanted to do the PS5 test. Basically, they wanted to make something for the PS5.
They're not doing it.
Now, I will be very clear. That literally means nothing that they said that, because that was something they said 4 years ago. It literally doesn't matter. They could just do it. They don't need to be like, well, we said we weren't gonna. They don't care. No.
The Yuffie DLC was literally like a beta test, though, to Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was also really good, and I wouldn't say important, but I think it's really good. Because you get to know about the Yuffie's motivation, right? So I wonder whether they will do one for Sid. I mean, that's what I thought initially. Would they do one
Vincent
for
is
Sid
the
or
one that
Vincent?
people think, yeah.
Vincent would fit in well with it.
I think they'd rather just get 3 done, and then if they want to do anything else like Dirge of Cerberus, like they'll do it when they want to do it.
Okay. And we haven't talked about this too much, but I do feel like I've thought about this in Remake. The battle system I enjoyed. I thought they did a pretty good job with it. But in this battle system, I thought it was pretty good too. And overall, I was happy with what they did. I thought it would please pretty much everybody, and it's still so much fun to pause the game and just see everything go in slow motion. So I still have a few friends that are like, nah, it's not the turn-based stuff. I'm like,
oh no.
This is the proper evolution.
I think this is the best way for 7, because you need to understand, just like the story, just like the characters, just like the areas. The combat is one of the key things still. That was that was what makes 7 or even Final Fantasy good at that time. Not saying that whatever the change is today is not good. But to keep that, the tactical mode, the ATB, is just, for 7 specifically, it has to be done this way, right? And I think they nailed it. But I think, I want to hear Happy say about this. I do feel like 7 Rebirth, although it's simpler, I actually felt like it was more manageable, and it was more, you can catch on to it, and it felt like more regulated. I feel like the Rebirth one is a little bit too hectic, just a little bit too much. And obviously, the fact that, for me personally, I think they nerfed the Punisher mode. I just think for me, it's just like, man, Cloud is the shittiest and the least interesting character in Rebirth. Everybody else is literally more fun. Okay, and Tifa is just as strong, if not stronger, and Barret become better. But Red is unique. Yuffie is fun. Casey is pretty good. Yeah, Casey is pretty good.
Yuffie was insane.
No, Aerith remains the strongest character in the game.
Okay, oh yeah. Forgot about her. Okay, yeah. Oh, what do you think? Do you
she's
think
dead now, so worth forgetting her.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Do you think they went a little bit too far, or you think that it's because, I mean, if I were to just go by evolution, right, from Remake to this, and then now with more character in the next one, are they gonna triple down? Because I felt like they doubled down a little bit too much this time. Material system is awesome though. Material system.
The only thing I think is that you have so many options that it's easier than Remake. I had. So there are a few fights that are issues, and honestly, there's only one enemy in the whole game. One. That's annoying. And his name is King Zoo. He's the only enemy in the game.
I knew you were gonna say a flying mob, yeah.
Well, it's not a flying mob, it's King Zoo. He's the one where if you don't destroy the wings, he instantly kills the whole party. Now, there's a trick to him, but funnily enough, Yuffie can actually use her dodge to dodge the insta-kill, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You can do something to one-shot him as soon as Swan Song ends. I don't know what it is, but in hard mode, he gets paired with 7 other bosses. And so you have to fight him and something else at the same time. Yeah, you can sleep him too. It's by far one of the worst experiences, but it's only because of Swansong. Everything else about him is fine. But you have so many tools in this game, and they're all so strong. I literally can't really knock anything too much.
Yeah. I mean, I played through normal. I didn't, through pretty much everything. And I only had challenges again in the last 2 side quests, right? But I didn't try to hard counter or anything. I just played however I want to. I played a lot with Kate Sif. So it's I love just throwing dice out there and just seeing what happens, right? It just
yeah.
After chapter, I think at 12, I don't want to see him ever again.
You still don't like him since OG, huh? I mean, he's the least likable character in the series. For sure.
It's just that one fight against the two scales. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
another thing about combat. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, in story wise, when he did that whole thing where he like gave up the materia or whatever at the end, he's like, I knew this was gonna happen, but you know, I thought maybe it'd be okay. And it's just like, what the fuck are you talking
exactly.
about?
Like, what the fuck did you expect, right? Okay, my another complaint about the combat is the perfect blocking. As soon as
blocking was great.
Really,
I'm not good at it. That's just what it is.
Well, not being good at it doesn't mean it's bad.
No. It's not that. It's the moment I saw it the very first time at the beginning of the tutorial, I already knew it's gonna open Pandora box. It's gonna make people try hard. It's gonna make the game completely different, and then it's gonna create this discussion of is the game supposed to play that way. Have you guys seen the Barrett video?
Which one?
Okay, you guys didn't.
I don't
the
really
Barrett
watch.
video that did the Gilgamesh fight solo.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
Gilgamesh fight, the simulator. But he go through every single five
battle
rounds.
of the other worlds fight. Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, that right there, man. How people can play this game like that. Now, don't get me wrong, it's fascinating. But I felt like when they introduce a system like that, it makes me wonder again. I'm not thinking just for Rebirth, right? The next one, what are they gonna do more insane? You know, because now it's pretty insane already. It's really, really crazy already.
I'll tell you what. It doesn't matter what they do, because one thing will remain true. People would rather dodge than block, and you can't do that unless you play as Yuffie. So everyone's still gonna eat shit while they're playing the game.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they play this remake and Rebirth, they always think that this is a full action game that they can dodge everything. No. It's an RPG game, it's ATB, it's turn-based. You are supposed to take damage. You know, that's why, I mean, maybe based on that philosophy, that's why my opinion on the perfect block is kind of like, no, it's not easy, by the way. It's really not easy because there's no iframe. It's not like after you block, you have iframe. No, right? You can block, you can perfect block one, sure. Or you can just, you know, get the timing right like that Barrett did in the video. But it's just, for me, it's like, holy shit.
Look,
that's too much, you know?
I assume most people just play the game and they just have fun with it and they don't try hard too much with perfecting it until really late, right? And so the experience is there's going to be a couple of challenges here and there, and they're going to go through the game system. They're not going to completely game it and be good at all these different functions and everything until way later. Some people are really good and they get none of it's hard at all, but there's the harder modes to kind of make that more fun later on. But yeah, when it came, I didn't try to perfect block or anything crazy, super hardcore. I was like, just play it, do the ATP functions, do fire damage versus ice, try to heal up with what takes damage. I didn't think about it too hard. And I feel like they did a pretty good job with that, where you'd run into frustrations unless you were just a hardcore gamer like Mr. Happy over here.
I had a few frustrations, but their names were all King Zoo plus one other boss. You ever try fighting a Great Marlboro and a King Zoo at the same time? It's a hell of an experience.
I assume, man, I had trouble fighting the two giant sabotenders in the UPA quest. And then I had trouble with the Tonberries.
The 10 Tonberries got a lot of people. Yeah, the 10 Tonberries.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple times it's like, man, this is just fucking bullshit. Odin pissed me off. You know,
Reprisal pisses everyone off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you hit those walls just every once in a while, and then you just figure out what the little counter is to it, and you go for it.
Did you ever figure out what the counter to Reprisal was?
Reprisal, the Odin thing, where he like just
counterattacks you as soon as you do a skill. Yeah, you have to be behind him.
Oh no, I never figured that out.
If he's looking at you, yeah, he can reprisal you.
You know, you're happy when I fight him the first 5 times, I didn't get counter, and I just like, okay. And then after that, the next 5 times, I was like, wait, where did this come from?
That happened to me the first time. Yeah, he didn't do it at all, and then I got to the double fight against Alexander at Gilgamesh's Island, and I was like, what the fuck is this mechanic?
Yeah, where did this come from?
Also, during Sephiroth, I got really angry at the end because I didn't realize magic is what you're supposed to use on the sword and the wig. And I was just like, this is kind of stupid, man. And then eventually, when I figured the magic was just a counter, it wasn't so bad. But I did that a few times. But I don't know. I think again, the system's super in depth. You can go in and do all the synergy crazy stuff. You could do all the get really hardcore with it, but it wasn't ever required unless you got into the hard mode. And I felt like that balancing was good enough to be happy, and I assume most
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's one thing I'm glad they didn't do for achievements. One sole thing that's not an achievement. So to get all the manuscripts, you have to redo every side quest on hard mode. There's no achievement for every There's no achievement for every combat like SP manuscript.
Yeah. I was kind of glad. You know, like when I do the world intel as well, the battle intel, I was like, man, this one, I have to stagger.
Oh, hard mode, like hard mode Fort Condor is not one either. Yeah, there's
yeah. Thank God. So it's like a lot. I think trophy these days are a lot better than trophies back then, like in PlayStation 4. Like for example, Final Fantasy 13 trophies.
Oh, you don't like collecting every item in the game?
Yeah, exactly. I am glad that, like, I think what was the manuscript required for remake trophy? Do you remember?
Well, it was the manuscripts were, but they were also really easy in remake.
Oh, yeah. So luckily this time I think Rebirth they toned down a little bit the trophy. So thank God. I mean, not saying that it's still easy. I think the Johnny one is probably gonna be annoying as fuck as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So, man, there's one thing I thought was gonna be a Johnny a collectible because they're very vague, and I'm glad I was wrong. Did you know it's impossible to score perfectly on the Loveless play, or at least it was on launch? I don't know if they fixed it.
Oh,
there's no achievement for it, but the first 3 strikes on, I think rounds 1 and 3 are always guaranteed to be goods and not greats.
I had no.
It pissed me off. I've literally spent hours on it, like making sure I wasn't crazy. Like, am I just bad at it? Let me try it earlier. Let me try it later. Yeah, the first 3 are always goods on the first and third attempts. Yeah, you have to build a combo. But what's weird is, so what's funny is you build the combo on the second one because the first press on the second one is always up spam. Like you have to press it a bunch of times. So it's automatically a great because you pressed it a bunch of times before it went off. It's just tilting, but there's no achievement for it. There's no Johnny collectible for it either. But I was so mad. So mad.
I like the Loveless thing. That came out of nowhere.
Oh, the Loveless thing is awesome. Yeah.
That felt really
so
solid.
Good.
And I didn't try to get perfect on the soldier marching.
Dude, the soldier marching eventually pissed me off a little bit because I didn't know that the ratings are tied to Tifa's bond. So I was really worried that because I went through it, and obviously, again, I'm very bad at this type of thing, like the rhythm type of thing, right? So I'm just like, oh my God, please don't tell me if I didn't get mad. You know, whenever, dude, at chapter 11, 12, they stop giving you Tifa's quest. It's just Red, Barret, Red, Airy. I'm like, dude, no. You know, Tifa have like a healthy lead, and everybody start reaching blue, and I'm like,
yeah, I saw that happening.
Yeah,
I did everything and got her, so it worked out.
Yeah.
I did everything. I got her too.
At chapter 12, it's all her. I mean, mostly her. So thank God. But
she won by 3%, I think, for me, over someone else. So I don't know.
I piss every. My chat is so mad at me because every time there's an interaction with Ari, you know, like Twitch chat always want you to choose the best one. And like I said earlier, when I play this type of single player game, right, I like to test the limit. I want to see things that people don't do. So at the Cosmo Canyon, when Arif is like telling her story, I choose that's enough. And my chat is like, "Whoa, do this to her." I'm like, "Why not?" I thought that was funny.
That reminds me, there's a handful of times where I failed things and people in chat never saw the failure for it, and they're like, "Holy shit, I've seen this for the first time." And I'm like, "That's great." For example, a dolphin thing, I messed that up, and the kid said it was so much fun to watch you suck. And it's just like, no one has ever seen that, but now that's the voice line I'm probably using there. And I'm okay with not being the best. Okay. But they added some really cool stuff in there. So there's stuff that really good players aren't going to see because they're not me. Right? I get a little bit of secret cutscene too.
You're like good in the opposite direction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, we're probably at near limit here for.
Did we miss anything?
We've hit
Probably
most everything, but at a top level, I guess we didn't do like hard digs and everything. There's a good amount of things that we've talked about. We've probably missed a couple of things. People were like, I wish they would have talked about this. There's just no way. This again, 100 hours and just doing the side quest. This is like 120, 150 hour game easily if you try to perfect it. Right.
Oh, I'll throw one more thing out there, and it's really just to acknowledge its existence and not for a discussion.
Sure.
Man, Wedge and Gravity don't get along at all.
Yeah. Unfortunate. I don't know. Maybe there's a timeline or whatever dimension he'll wedge his way through.
The problem is the whole point is that he's going to die by gravity in every single possible outcome.
Yeah.
That was like the whole point.
Yeah. Poor Wedge, man. I am glad they added some stuff in there for him.
A closure, because that was one of the things we always wonder, right? What happened to him? I mean, kind of all expected. All three of them has to somewhat die. And then when we saw the bigs, it's like, But I've never played a single player game that story took me 108 hours. That's crazy. Yeah. And then people always ask, Arthars, is this game worth it? What do you think?
Yeah.
Like,
bro, RPG people have like budget per. I know somebody who said if I'm gonna buy an RPG, I'm charging it $1 an hour. So if it doesn't last 60 hours and it's $60, then it was a bad game automatically. And I'm just like,
yeah. I mean, you see, worth is very different. But I think for that guy to say that, actually, for him, I
mean, if that's how you feel, you feel. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I kind of think you're crazy.
I mean, you spend like what, $18-20 to go see a movie these days?
That's exactly what I always say. That's the exact argument I used. I was like, but a movie is like, that's different. And I'm like, no, it's not.
You're going there to be entertained by a story and an experience, right? And so
that's the most important. People think too much about video games. Yeah. Same for, when they compare 7 and they compare 6. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I hit 16 or anything. But I think if you can get that much hour for those visual indulgence, music, and then play a good game, dude, go for it, man. Like a lot of people is sitting on the fence. Oh, I have to buy both. No, you don't have to buy both. There's a whole edition that you can play Remake and Rebirth. Or you know what? Wait for the third one. Now, obviously, I don't think buying a PlayStation to play this game is, I mean, that's too much.
Oh, you should.
$70 for one part.
I PlayStation 4. I mean, I wait for the Pro maybe, but.
Just also buy Demon Souls and like a few other things.
Demon Souls is that was perfect for a launch game, and it was a really well done remake too. Funny enough, but it wasn't in the same vein, right?
Oh yeah. Demon Souls was good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I hit everything I wanted to hit for sure. I don't know if you guys did, but I feel better. I felt like I was able to let some of this stuff out, right? Get it off my chest.
And Stellar Blade, which comes out in 26 days. That's PS5 exclusive.
Oh, it's true. I've never beaten Elden Ring, so I'm doing my playthrough of that now. Cause
Happy, you played the demo, right? I saw on Twitter the FPS is pretty good. The performance is pretty good. It's smooth as Is it like the whole game, or do I have to go into some performance graphic mode?
It has performance balanced and graphics mode. Most people seem to be playing in balanced.
Yeah, pretty good. Runs really good. That game looks beautiful.
Yeah. Tell me more about how you feel about Stellar Blade. Tifa fan.
Okay. Another waifu to add to the list. We'll see.
If I had time, I'd do it, but I gotta get through my list before the expansion, because expansion is going to take up literally all of my time. Like, this expansion is going to be so time consuming. Because I mean, we had this discussion. I mean, we won't go too much into detail about it, but a lot of people felt exhausted from all the raids and ultimates and everything that were being released, and they're probably going to deliver that plus be on top of some other things, I feel like we're all going to feel very exhausted by the end of this expansion too. So
Wait, at end of this, as in what? And
I'm
Walker?
He means Dawn
Dawn
Trail.
Trail. Dawn Trail.
Oh,
Like at the 0.5 patch, right? So we won't get that. Okay, we gotta cut it. We can't have that conversation here because that's gonna take too long. But I'm looking forward to it, guys. This is gonna be all of our lives coming up in just a couple of months leading up to it. Released in just a few months. So. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth wise, we'll go ahead and do closing statements here and everything and get us all sign off. Thank you guys for agreeing to do this. I know it's a different day than I normally do it as well. And it means a lot to talk to you guys because I've known you guys forever and you both went at this game pretty hard too. I will say Happy, of course, with the hardest, but it's a pleasure.
I'm always the hardest.
Oh, I know.
whoa.
All right. Happy. With that being said, do you want to say your last words here and where people could find you as well?
Oh, you don't want to do my outro for me too?
No, I don't. Do it.
You can find me Mr. Happy 1227 on any platform, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Except today where I ended 30 minutes early so I could be here. There you go. Currently just working on my all combat relics in 14 since I'm between games at the moment. And April has all of its releases like within 6 days of each other. It's got the 16 DLC on April 18th. It's got Ayuden Chronicles on April 23rd. It has Saga Emerald Beyond on April 25th and Stellar Blade on April 26th. Not to mention the 14-hour Final Fantasy 14 broadcast, which is April 12th.
Jeez. Yeah. All
That was
right.
very well thought out. Yeah.
Please go follow Mr. Happy if for some reason you guys are. He's an amazing person just overall. Mr. Happy 1227 everywhere, like you said. Why
did I even do the outro if you were just going to repeat me?
I was
What
just
are you
going to
doing?
repeat you just to make sure. I want to cement it, right? I want it to be in there solid so people know for sure. But yeah, thank you for coming on again, man. I do appreciate it. Arthars?
Honestly, nothing much. Just chilling until the expansion. Yeah. So you can find me at twitch.tv/Arthars. I'm just like playing the game with some friends with my wife as well. Just getting ready for the expansion. Yeah, calm before the storm. But yeah, definitely looking forward to other games. Stellar Blade 100%. Like I like how it looks, obviously, and the combat seems interesting. So yeah, and Elden Ring. Yeah. These two will be like my two priority from now until Dawn Trail. But yeah,
I mean,
7 related, we'll see each other in 4 years.
Yeah. Well, Elden Ring has become like even more important to me since Yoshida called it out directly during PAX. Right? It's like I'll give you 1 week with 1 week's not good enough. It's not even 1 week. It's like 4 days, isn't it, or whatever?
No, it's a week.
Is
It's
it
the 21st and the 28th.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Granted, realistically, are you going to play it the day before on Thursday, or are you going to try to sleep and get ready? So
for
Dawn Trail.
Dawn Trail, I'm gonna get it as soon as I can, man. I gotta push pretty hard on that game. But we'll see. Well, I mean, it depends. You gotta at least start the queue at that time, right? In case.
Well, you have 24-hour maintenance, yeah, and we'll see how the queues go and all that.
Yeah, we gotta see how that goes.
We got OC server. It's fine.
That's only good. That's only good if you play on JP servers or if you're like closer to that. I mean, I'm not gonna play on OC. I'm not. I need a little bit better ping.
Get a VPN.
VPN is not a failsafe for everything, man. I mean, I have a VPN and I still get 150 going to EU, so and that's still
150 is playable.
It's playable, but it's not 30 or 40, which is much more playable. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see. But I'll probably be talking to you guys even more before the expansion comes out. Arthars, thank you so much for coming on again. I mean, you were just on last month. Talk about casters. So it's good to bring you back too.
Yeah, nice to be here, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, sure. I do want to remind everybody we are still technically sponsored by an event that's going to be coming up in October, Gateway Fate. Just a reminder, you guys should go check them out. It's going to be October 12th and 13th. So a bit after Dawn Trail, probably right before we see patch 7.1, and probably after you're done with most of your Savage stuff. Over in St. Louis, they're going to have the unofficial Final Fantasy 14 meetup. They have a lot of really cool people coming, and we mentioned this last time you were on the show, Arthars. But one of the really cool people coming on is Britt Baron, the voice actress of Tifa, which is very relevant to what we're talking about right now. So if you guys want to meet her, she'll be there for the event as well. And they have passes and everything else that you can go purchase. You can check out the full details at their website. Here's the website in the chat. I'll put it in the YouTube video as well if you want to check it out. But yeah, definitely looks like probably one of the best Final Fantasy 14 unofficial events I've seen put together so far. Seen all the details and everything else, so you guys should definitely try at least to check it out. See if it's something that you would want. You Gateway Fate for helping sponsor this video as well and this podcast. And with that all being said, guys, I'm going to be back here on the channel in like 3 hours. I need to go spend time with family and eat dinner. I got DSR to Prague on tonight. We're at P5. So
another topic, man.
I can't hear what you're saying, Happy.
I need another DSR and another top totem, but
it's a hard fight, man. It's
not
hard.
even that. It's not even about hard. Just doing it.
Yeah.
Just doing it.
I mean, it's true. It's true. But yeah, we're gonna be doing that tonight. Tomorrow I won't be streaming, I don't think at all. There's maintenance tomorrow night too. Guys, if you ever have a raid night, don't make it Monday nights. It's half of your raid nights are gonna be canceled, apparently. So no stream tomorrow, and then we'll be back at it on Tuesday. Thank you everybody for watching this show. You guys have all been absolutely fantastic being here and being part of this conversation. Again, this is something that we won't be talking about on the channel. Final Fantasy 7, we are keeping that just spoiler, like, you know, we're staying away from spoilers overall on the channel. And it's nice to have this kind of beef here while we can get it. But that all being said, all have a wonderful rest of your day. Everybody say bye. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.